Good evening, I'm Lyndsay Horne and you are watching Poker Night Live, the show that not only brings you live internet Texas Hold'em 7 nights a week, but you also get commentary and analysis from our team of experts. And tonight I'm joined by Mark Prince Charles Banin.
Yeah, hi Lyndsay.
Hello Mark, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, looking forward to tonight. I've got a feeling it's going to be a bit of a spooky night tonight though.
Spooky? Why?
All will be revealed.
Oh, okay.
All will be revealed. But as always, it's your show. We're here till 2 o'clock. Lots of poker for you. We've got some cash games, tournaments, and an MTT. We've got 82 runners for you tonight, so it's going to be really good. Also, we want you to get involved. We want your questions and your comments throughout the night. So please do we want you to go interactive mad tonight. What are your questions? What do you want to know? Send them through to Mark in the studio. You can text us 84222. 84222 is the text number. Put the word poker at the start of your message, or you can email, and there's the address. It's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And if you'd like to find out any more information about the show, then have a look at our very cool website, www.pokernightlive.co.uk. So lots of games coming up tonight. Mark, would you?
Yeah, should we go around and have a look what we've got? Absolutely, let's have a look what we've got today. Okay, the first one we have is a cash game, and it's a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. As you can see, there are 6 players on this particular table. Maximum buy-in is $50, minimum buy-in is $5. So that's one of our regular cash games that we see here. This particular one is a sit-and-go tournament. This one has just kicked off by the looks of it. Most of the players are there, and only a couple of blinds have gone, so yeah, this is probably only the second hand of the game. And this one is one of our longer versions. It's actually 2,000 chips. Next one is also a tournament. It's one of our quick fire tournaments. This one is a $2 tournament, and as you can see, the players have all just started, so they're ready and raring to go there. And our final table of the evening is none other than our $10 multi-table tournament. This is a tournament where anything in terms of hundreds of players can be participating. I'll get you the details a little later on in the show, but generally that's quite an interesting one, as we always finish off with that towards the end of the show.
Yeah, so with the final table, should be good. And we're here till 2 o'clock. After midnight, of course, it is the 6th of June.
6th of June?
The 6th of the 6th. 06.
Oh yes. Damien.
Damien, the old man. So, as a special treat, we've got a killer question for you. We want you to get involved. We want to know which famous poker player shares his birthday with the devil. Which famous poker player shares his birthday with the devil? Interesting one.
Yeah. Interesting. Maybe he is the devil.
You never know. So we want your answers on text and email 84222 or email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We'll not reveal the answer till after midnight. I think it only seems right. Have you been playing any poker recently, Mark?
No, not really. I've been playing a little, but not really a great deal. No, I'm too busy commentating on the show.
Yes, absolutely. So looking forward to getting your teeth stuck into our first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Not as much as I'd like to be playing.
So what's your fancy first? Should we have a look at the MTT maybe?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a little dip in there and see what's going on.
So it's a $10 buy-in with one $10 rebuy, one $10 add-on. We've got 82 runners, 1,500 chips starting stack, and it's a 12-minute clock. Okay,
cool. So lots of play then.
Yeah.
And it means that when you get so many chips, because each time they rebuy, that's another 1,500 chips in effect into the pool, isn't it? So it means that someone's got to have the chips, and it means that there's going to generally be a lot of play. This one just looks like, I think it's recently kicked off, because they're all pretty close to their original starting stack.
Yes.
Of course, though, we can see Hudson, who's doubled up. So,
do you think he's knocked out the person to his left there?
Possibly, or he could have just doubled up off any of the others.
Yeah.
You know, any of the others could have had their 1,500 chips nicked, and he's basically, they've had to rebuy. So, now, just for our viewers that aren't familiar with this format of tournament, what it basically means is that if you wanted to play in this tournament, it costs you a minimum of $10. When I say it's a minimum, you can actually get away for only paying $10, but it does mean that you are at a slight disadvantage. Why? And that is very simple. It means that other players around you can afford to gamble that little bit more. So it means that what they can do is they can actually take chances in the knowledge that if they do happen to take a big risk and they lose their starting stack, they can rebuy back into the tournament. Usually that happens for within the first hour, so they can rebuy within the first hour. But they can only rebuy on this particular table. They can only rebuy once.
Yeah, so that makes it, because some tournaments have unlimited rebuy.
Yeah,
or they have it maybe for the first hour. You can rebuy non-stop for the first hour.
Yeah, and some people go a bit wild in those situations. Yeah. So this one is only one rebuy allowed and one add-on, which means that once the hour of rebuys is over, if you've just taken a little bad beat near the end there and you're a little bit lost a few chips, but you can top up.
Yeah, it's like a top-up, isn't it?
So so it's a top-up. It gives you another $1,500 chips. It will cost you $10 though, so the choice is yours. Of course, if you have a lot of chips, then you don't really need to top up. But if you haven't, then it's usually a good thing to do so anyway.
Ideally, if you were going to sit down at a tournament like this, you'd recommend that people have $30. If they
you want to set aside $30 for this tournament, really, just in case.
Obviously, you don't have to, but it would put you at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah, you can't you can't go into these kind of tournaments whereby you can't really play this kind of tournament as a freeze out.
Yeah.
Because you do need to almost call it a $20 tournament for guaranteed $20.
Yeah.
And possibly $30.
Yes.
And the reason I say guaranteed 20 because 9 times out of 10 you'll need to take the top up, because otherwise everyone is just pulling away from you. Yeah,
even if you don't lose your chips and you don't have to pay for the rebuy, you still want to top up at the end, because other people are going to top up and could end up...
Most will, yeah. Most will. So it means that you're going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So, you should really count it as a $20 tournament and possibly a $30. Well, no one's got much of anything here apart from Cartoon Head, who's got middle pair. And he's checked it, which is a bit surprising. I would have thought he would have liked to have put a little bet there, perhaps, a little feeler bet. But this depends what he does here. Let's see. Black Horse, of course, could have... he's only got second pair Cartoon Head, so it won't be sacrosanct to throw this away. Oh, I don't know what this guy's calling with. Ace 2. He's calling, really, just to grab the button. And Cartoon Head will probably throw this away, thinking, well, one of these two guys must be beating me. Yeah, I don't blame him for that, really.
Yeah, he's probably a bit worried about the 10 and possibly the flush draw.
Well, Black Horse has picked up a nice hand now. He's now got a set of 5s, and Hudson's improved too. He's now got an inside straight draw, which means if he hits a 3, he'll actually have the best hand. But he hasn't, so it means that, very simply, Black Horse has won. And Hudson there sort of took a bit of a chance there. It did improve at the end, but you don't really want to be chasing weak aces, and you don't want to be chasing backdoor gut shot straight draws. You know, they're just useless.
He got away from it fairly cheaply, but it's still 60.
Yeah,
it
was waste.
Spend.
Yeah, it was a waste of money, basically. Yeah.
He's now got ace 10, so that's looking a bit more healthy for him.
So, of course, Lynn, this is a amateur night tonight.
Yes.
So what we'll be doing is we'll be hopping into some of our smaller cash games. Perhaps last time we hopped into a 5-cent, 10-cent game.
We did, yeah. It was the first time I saw one of those tables, but it was quite good, actually. I was quite impressed with the standard of play.
It was pretty good, yeah. So perhaps might be worth having a little dip in there and seeing how those boys play. I'll take a couple more hands of this first, and then we'll hop in there shortly. So the ace high flush wins it, and Hudson's doing pretty well at the moment. He's doubled his chip stack, and he's in a very strong position at the moment.
Yeah, because still very early stages. The blind's still 10-20.
Yeah, he's got about, what is that? That's about 175 times the big blind there. So
a nice position to be in.
So huge, yeah. He's got huge amount of chips there. Any time you get 100 or more of the big blind, you're in a very strong position. Well, this is ace 4 is currently in the lead. Not a particularly good kicker, so he'll want to bet this, but he hasn't. I'm a bit surprised.
Buff would be good.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be giving away free cards.
He's now got a pair of queens and a flush draw. He might want to...
He'll definitely want to put in something
here.
Yeah,
he's put in 100.
Be interesting. I don't know what the broker's doing here. He's played it very slowly. And the king 8, he's calling with a king 8 with no draw whatsoever. I don't know what he's hoping to hit here. I mean, he's calling for a jack, which is a horrible call, really. And the broker's now decided to bet. He's given everyone a chance to catch up. And Buffy Be Good saying, well, you know, I can't believe you've got a queen or an ace because you've checked it all this time.
Yeah.
And it was very weird play, Buffy, and I don't blame you for calling there. It did seem a bit odd that he's suddenly betting.
And Jabroka's quite lucky there that Buffy didn't hit his flush because he almost played that too slowly. I mean, it paid off in the end, but he put himself at risk.
That was too much at risk with a weak hand, yeah. By all means, take risks with a hand that has some more strength to it, or a hand that's got at least more potential strength.
Yeah.
He had a hand that was weak to start off with, you know, mediocre at best, and it had no potential growth.
It'd be interesting to see how Hudson plays as well now. He seems to have accumulated some chips, but now wants to spend them.
Yeah, he does, yeah. Although he's picked up a little bit of a draw here.
Yeah.
This is interesting because we've got Noise Boy, who's got top pair. We've got Hudson, who's got up and down. And we've got Kev Steele, who's got top pair, top kicker. Now, what's he going to do? He'll probably want to put in a little bit of a raise here. Nothing too substantial. I think if he makes it up 2-all, he's given...
he's made it huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because whilst he's got top pair, top kicker, it's still a weakish type hand. And, well, now he's done that, he might as well just shove the lot in.
No.
And Noise is trying to slow things down. And Kev Steele realises that he's trying to slow things down and it's too late for Noise. Yeah. See, Noise, if you had listened to our Mr. Browning about calling raises with King Queen, you wouldn't be in this trouble now.
No. You need to be the raiser with the King.
Well, if you're going to be the raiser, you need to be the raiser. You don't want to be the caller.
Yeah.
But look here, we've got here, Lynn. We've got Noise Boys. I mean, it doesn't make any difference because he's only got 10 anyway. But we've got Kev Steele, who's got Ace Queen. We've got the Broke, who's got Ace King.
Ace 10.
And Black Horse has got Ace 10. So 3 of the aces are out. And of course, we've got next to him. Look at that. Well, I nearly missed it. DCNY's got 7-8 offsuit. The biggest hand of the lot.
Woohoo! Do you know what?
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
6, 7, 8, 9. It's looking good, that 7. The only problem is those 10s don't look to be appearing, because 3 of those are out as well. So he really has to be hoping for the one remaining 10, or, of course, the last, or one of the 4 5s that's in there. Or, of course, a 7 or 8. Oh, there it is.
Just to prove you right.
I told you about that 7, 8.
Can't believe that. All the hands out there. Pair of 10s, Ace Queen, Ace King, Ace 10. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And, you know, I was talking about this with one of our, you know, visual guys the other day. Yeah. And he just thought I was having a joke with 7, 8. He just doesn't believe me. But it always wins, always.
Not always.
Always. Always, without exception.
Always when you're around.
Always when I'm around. Well, I have this influence.
It never wins for me.
Well...
Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. You're
not the 7, 8 queen. Perhaps you don't believe it in your heart. That's what it is.
That's probably why. I think maybe
you have to have the belief, the inner belief.
The 7, 8 belief.
Yeah.
Can't believe that.
So there you go. He's taken them all on and come out triumphant. The only problem is he's got no money for his efforts. So
he's not making it pay, is he?
No, he's got Hudson trying to bet at him, and he's made a little bet. He thinks his straight is good.
Hudson is again getting involved with nothing.
Yeah, we tried a little steal there. I don't know why, because it was just completely pointless trying a steal there.
And it looks like Noise has not decided to go for the rebuy.
Yes, he's gone. You're quite right. He hasn't gone for the rebuy unless he's already used it.
Yes, so he could have used it before we arrived at the table.
Hudson's got some money from somewhere, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It might have been Noise where he got it from, possibly. So yeah. Oh well. Nice hand now. See? Told you that was a good hand, that 7, 8. 7, 8 offsuit as well. The champion of hands.
That hand played a treat for you, didn't it, there?
But it always plays a treat for me.
I wouldn't mind if it was just up against one other hand, but it was up against, you know, another 4 good hands, which you would probably expect to beat it.
No, you wouldn't expect to beat it. Well, other people might expect to beat it.
I need to have the faith in the...
you need to have the faith, that's exactly right.
The faith in the 7, 8. Don't forget as well, our killer question tonight, we want to know which famous poker player shares his birthday with the devil. Of course, it's the 6th of the 6th, 06, after midnight.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a poker player...
Scary stuff.
...who shares his birthday with the devil, with Damien. So we want your answers through. You can text us in the studio, send them by text 84222, put the word poker at the start of your message and then your answer. And you can also email and the address, just by magic, there it is. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Is there a prize, Mark, for this?
I was going to ask you that, in fact. Is there a prize?
I don't think there is.
So.
I think it's just
this is a bit of fun.
You get a pat on the back off us, and you get your name read out in flashing lights on Poker Night Live. That's good enough, isn't
absolutely. You get some notoriety.
Yeah, you get the glory. You get your name mentioned. So get your answers in anyway. Which poker player shares his name with the devil? Okay, we're going to head over to a cash game now.
Okay, cool. So this is the game that we were watching the other day, I believe, wasn't it? 5 cent, 10 cent.
Yeah.
A really small game. Nice for beginners to start off. It's a good sized game. Nice,
affordable game for a new player. A nice, comfortable level to be playing at.
And it's when you change it into English money, we're talking about, rounded slightly, but we're talking about what, 2.5 pence, 5 pence in effect. So you get a lot of play for that. You're not going to win a fortune, but you generally shouldn't lose too much either. You
can only sit down with $10.
Yeah, $10 is the maximum you can sit down with, which is about £5. So there's not an awful lot that you can lose. You know? So it's a bit of fun, and if you play well, you never know, you might make a little profit.
Yeah. Oh, there's still money to be made. We actually saw a couple of people when we watched a game like this last time with. I'm sure there was one person who was up to about $50, wasn't there?
I don't know, was it that high?
Or at least it was over 40.
I think it was about 30 or 40, all right, yeah. 40, that's right, it was. It was, I can't think who it was
I can't remember the name.
But it was over 40,
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he's raised and got re-raised all in. And, he's sort of dug himself a hole, but for $2.90, he's getting 6 to 1, he's getting about 4 to 1 on his money. He decided to call. He doesn't need a bit more than 4 to 1, really, with that hand. He doesn't know it. But he's way behind. He needed running kings, running aces. Would have done it for him too. Of course, I would have given him the same full house. I would have split it with money giver. Or, of course, he needed 10 jack to appear. Or running clubs. So, a few outs there, but all pretty... Not much chance of that happening.
So these blinds don't change in level like they do in the tournament. They stay at 5 cents, 10 cents. Because it's such a sort of small stakes cash game, do you think we're going to get lots of people getting involved in lots of pots? We're not going to see people sitting patiently grinding it out like they do in the higher level cash games.
Yeah, normally what happens, that's very right, Lyndsay. That does happen quite a lot in these cash games. In the smaller level ones, you tend to find they don't have the patience. They just, a bit more gung-ho with their chips. But we've seen last time that these guys, they weren't that gung-ho. They were playing very sensibly. Yeah. So it'll be good to see if they can maintain that. A lot of people lose perspective of, the relationship of their stack to the blinds, and they think, let's put in $2 here or whatever, when the blinds are like 5 pence or something. Yeah. So there's not much point. So you have to play relative to the blinds, and that's important. So it'll be interesting to see, though. But so far, it looks so good. We haven't seen anything too outlandish.
No. Of course, when you're playing on a television table, maybe if these guys weren't on TV, they might be playing a bit more loose.
So Queen 8 for 29.60. I wouldn't mind a little button still here. Well, in fact, he's not on the button, but try and nick it. Queen 9's a fair hand to do it with. 30 would be a nice little bet. He doesn't elect to do so. Pascal's got a nice hand there. He won't be giving this one up. I think he'll be coming in with a raise. 25 is okay too. Don't mind that bet at all. 2.5 times, 3 times, 3.5 times. They're all about the right sort of price.
The answers to our killer question mark are already coming through. Which famous poker player shares his birthday with the devil? Raj has sent an email and says the devil's birthday is shared with devilfish. That is so easy, you losers. Unfortunately, Raj, that's the wrong answer. We wouldn't give you something so simple.
Yeah, I'm afraid, Raj, that you're not...
the loser sign's not on us. Yeah. Yes, no, that's the wrong answer, Raj. Keep trying. Get your emails and texts coming through. Not the devilfish. That would have been far too obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pascal with a nice little hand here. He's trying to see how much money he can get out of it. You better be careful though. I mean, when I say better be careful, he's got nothing too much to worry about here, but generally you wouldn't want to over slow play this hand. You'd actually want to make some kind of bet, really on the flop or the turn, because it is, whilst it's a nice hand, it's a set of threes, it is very vulnerable, you know, and the board is straightening now. And, you know, he would kill himself if he decided, once he's made this hand, he's got to start getting paid on it. And of course, he hasn't got money, he's got a penny in the pot.
Yeah.
He's got 40 cents because he hasn't built the pot. And now the fours has put in a bit of a stop bet. And it's not going to work. And now Pascal can't comfortably re-raise. He can re-raise, but I'm not sure how comfortable it would be. He has, and it's risky. It's a risky move. Not sure if Sausages will actually pay him here. He probably won't. Can't think that his fours are winning with all those cards. No, he doesn't. He sensibly folds. And that's good. But that's good discipline from Sausages. Yeah. It's very tempting when you've got 40 cents. So you're thinking, oh, I just want to see his cards, but you don't. You know, you don't want to pay to see people's cards unless you feel that you can somehow make that up later on. So that was good discipline by Sausages. He made a little play at it. It was a bit of a stop bet. He got re-raised. He thought, okay, well the guy must have hit 2 pair on the end there, or maybe more. And he was right, he actually had it all the time. But I think Pascal slow played it a little bit too much. He should have put some money behind it. If he doesn't get anything out of it, then so be it. So
do you think a lot of people pay out of curiosity?
They do. They do. They're nosy.
Yeah,
they're curious.
They sort of pretty sure they're behind, but they just really want to know what they had.
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of people do it because of that. Not because they think it will help them necessarily, but because they're just curious, you know.
Yeah.
You know, human beings by nature are curious people. So
that's interesting, actually. I've never thought of it like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've actually done it myself a few times, but I haven't actually thought of it like that.
Yeah, it does happen.
I think I've convinced myself, if I've done it, that I've thought that I could be ahead, so I'm going to just.
You just got to put it behind you. Say, okay, it doesn't matter if he's bluffing me. Good luck to him.
Never mind, move on. You've not lost any more of your.
Yeah, don't be curious. It's not a game where you want to be curious. Not unless you feel that you're going to get all this guy's money. And Pascal took a lot of chances there, you see, because had Sausages re-raised him and he had happened to hit the straight, he would have paid him off, at least. So, not much in the semblance of hands here, although Latin Nata has picked up a suited ace. What's he going to do with it? Let's have a look. Pascal might look to play this 6-7. I wouldn't, personally. I wouldn't even be tempted to play the suited ace, to be honest. I think I'd just be throwing it away. I'd be certainly raising with it if I thought I had a chance of winning it. It's been a fairly passive table, so raising it with it is not a bad option.
He's just called.
He's just elected to call, okay.
Luckily for him, no one else seems to have much of a hand, but he's not sure of that yet.
Yeah, I would have liked to, well, it's worked out okay for him by the looks of it, has it? Yes, it has. It's worked out pretty much okay, but it's a pretty scary sort of board there. So it's interesting to see what he's going to do now.
And they've all hit a bit of something, so you might get paid.
Yeah, this is the problem. They've all hit something, haven't they? Bottom pair and middle pair in these other cases. Now, I've got a feeling it might not drive them all out. Especially that diamond might keep FC still involved to see if he can hit another diamond to get a flush draw going. Plus, he obviously could hit another 10 or a 7. So it might keep him in for 40, and he's got, what's he getting now? He's getting about 3-1 his money. I think for 3-1, possibly 4-1, because he doesn't know that money givers might call as well. I might just, but the problem is I don't mind the fold there from FC Paulie, and the reason I don't mind is because the board is King 10 Ace. Now he could say, well, hold on a sec, if someone's sitting there with Jack Queen, hitting my 10 or 7 is no good anyway, because I'll just be losing. So there's no point calling a hand that I could be already losing to, and I can't improve beyond.
Yes, yeah.
So, and plus the other clubs is there, of course.
If there was 2 diamonds on the board, it would be different, but he needed...
Plus he had 2 clubs. He had 2 clubs against him as well.
Yes.
Which means if he hits a 7 of clubs, someone could now make not only a straight, but it could also make a flush.
Yeah.
So, his 10-7 is looking pretty weak. So, yeah, that's actually, in hindsight, that would be a much better fold. That's not a good call in that situation. So, money giver with the up and down straight draw, the better end of the up and down straight draw. Of course, 8-10 would be the worse end. And a few tens. We've seen tens being quite prominent today, haven't we?
Yes.
And if an 8 comes, that'll be really interesting. Because that'll now give Latinator and 2960. There it does. Oh, I called it. Now, money giver's got that hand. He's got the straight. And Latinator would have given him some money had he put some in, because he would have tried to hit it. Now that he's missed, he's not going to pay anything. So, and plus he was a little bit vulnerable there, money giver to a possible better straight appearing, or of course, well, he's trying to take it away, Latinator, because he's missed it, and it's the only way he can win it. And he's got his answer. Money giver saying, I've got something here. And it's not 2 pair. You won't really raise 2 pair, you generally in that situation, you just flat call. So he's saying, yeah, I've got a pretty good hand. And I think he must have missed a little bit of an opportunity there by betting on the turn.
On the turn, yeah.
He would have got a little bit more money out of Latinator. But having said that, Latinator decided to give it to him anyway by trying to bluff him. But it was a fair move. You can't really blame people when they try and move like that.
At least when he got his answer, he put it down. That's the thing. He didn't continue.
He made a move. Absolutely, he made a move. He tried it on. He thought he can only call me if he's got a big hand.
He got the response and then put it down. So that's okay. It's when you continue with it after. Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't mind the play. I really don't. This is a nice hand for Pascal. He's hit a set of jacks, and he's just elected to call here. 40. Might want to stick a little bit more money in. Oh, he definitely is going to get some money out of him now. That's a cruel card for 2960. He thinks he's just hit the trump card, but he hasn't. He's actually hit the card he really didn't want to see. Or a 6, of course, he wouldn't want to see another 6. 214. He thinks he's betting with the best hand here, and Pascal's about to tell him that you're not. And it's very hard for 2960 to get rid of this one. Yeah, he's called. I can't really blame him. It was hard. The only thing he could say is, what was he calling with on the flop? He's calling on the flop of 3-6. Well, he could have been calling with 4-5, I guess, in the big blind. That could be a hand he's calling with. What else could he be calling with? Not a lot else. So, apart from, obviously, a set of jacks, 6s or 3s. So, the only 3 types of hands he could have been calling with. So, would he make a big play like that with a missed 4-5 is unlikely, I think. Yeah, so
yes.
But he could have been doing that possibly with top 2 pair.
With a pair of jacks even, or
top 2 pair. I don't think he'd make that play with a pair of jacks, but maybe 2 pair. He thinks that he might be thinking. So difficult though for 2960 to get away from that. I think he hit the card, and that's the problem, isn't it? When you make those kind of situations, you're you're giving yourself an opportunity to lose money.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
He put himself in that situation.
Yeah. I think once he got his answer from Pascal, sometimes it'll be the wrong answer. Sometimes he will be bluffing at it, but most of the time they're going to have a hand in that situation. And
it's hard when you get that card on the river and you think that is the card that is giving you the best hand. It's put you ahead, where in actual fact it's the card that's going to. That's got you in trouble. Yeah,
absolutely. But he did play it very well, Pascal. Let's make no mistakes about it. It was hard on 2960. He played it very well. He played it very sneakily. He just flat called. And not only did he flat call, and this was the key really behind it, is that he flat called very, very quickly. Which means that, okay, he's on a draw. That's really what he's saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's slowing and playing. Where if someone takes their time and they think, and then they flat call, then it's, warning bells.
Yes.
So, but he didn't get that. Well, 2960 has nothing here, so he can really fold this away unless he's going to try and bet at it. No, don't blame him there. He had nothing. He had a backdoor straight draw. Not very good, especially when you've got a couple of spades against you as well.
So it's amateur tonight, guys. So if you'd like to ask Mark a question, if there's anything that you've seen so far that you'd like to ask, something that you're not sure of, or if there's a part of your own game that you'd like Mark's advice on, then all you've got to do is send us a text or an email. 84222 is the text number, or you can email as well. There's the text number. Put the word poker at the start of your message. 84222, or the email address is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And you can ask anything. Isn't that right, Mark?
Well, almost anything.
You'll do your best to answer.
If I don't know, then I'm sure there'll be someone that does. So we've got top pair for FC. He's put out a bet, and I don't like the initial call from 2960 really. Pre-flop, Jack 4 suited, it's not a particularly nice hand. And Louis is wondering whether his queen is still good. We can see it's not.
He's up against 2 pair.
Well, it's a good disciplined fold there from Louis. FC has picked up a suited ace-jack. And if he's going to play it, then he's done pretty much the right thing, I think. Come out of a bet of... I think I would have made it just a normal 3 times bet here, but that's okay. 40 is okay too. Now, 2960 is probably wondering what's this early position raiser doing here. And I actually don't mind the flat call with a pair of 7s. The reason being is that if he is raising with a big pair there, like jacks, queens, kings or aces,
yeah,
then...
which is quite likely if he's doing that in early position.
It could be. Yeah, I won't say it's likely, but it is possible.
Right.
It is possible, because he obviously could be doing it with ace, king, ace, queen.
Yeah.
He might even be doing it with a smaller pair. But what I don't mind calling with... oh, look at that. He's flopped a monster. He's flopped the nut flush, he's played a royal flush straight draw, plus a straight. So FC can't believe. The problem being is that the only card that's going to do him any favours here is really like a 7 of spades. Because, so one card, and he's just going to flat call here. Sure he will. Oh, I don't like this at all. No, he's got such a big hand. And that's not really what he wanted to see. He didn't really want to see that FC, because now it's going to mean that he's not going to get any action from... Oh, and that's just killed it off. He's not going to get any action from 2960. No matter what you bet here, FC...
It's going to look obvious he's got a flush.
Well, it's going to look obvious he's got something. Yeah, and whatever it is, it's going to be more than a pair of 7s. So he can't call.
He can't possibly. He's got...
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing.
The flush there, there's 4 overcards.
Well, it's 5 in effect, because you've got a jack in your hand, you've got that too.
Yes.
You know, just a bare jack.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's losing to pretty much everything. Yeah, simple fold there really in the end. Yeah, I think, as I was saying, I think I would have preferred a flat call with that. The reason being is that what you're always afraid of, when you've got a pocket pair, 8s or 9s or 10s, then I don't mind the raise so much. And the reason I don't mind the raise so much is because you need to find out whether that guy in first place who's raised, has got a bigger pair than you, whether he's got aces or kings or something like that. So the way to do it is by raising. Now, the reason you don't need to do it so much with 7s is because invariably you either hit your set or you don't.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't hit your set, then it's very unlikely that you'll get 3 cards lower than your 7.
Yeah.
So it means that you won't feel that you've got the best hand.
Okay.
Whereas if you do that with a pair of 9s or 10s and you flat call, the flop is much more likely to become 3 low cards.
What you're saying,
and now you feel that you can't get away from it because you've got an overpair to that board.
Yeah.
And they're quite hard to get away from sometimes. So in that case, I don't mind the raise because it means it's trying to find out an answer from the guy. Have you got aces or kings? Tell me.
But the 7s, really, you want to see if you can hit your set. So preferably you want to do it cheaply, because if you don't hit it, you need to get rid of it. So obviously the less you can put into the pot, the better. Yeah,
absolutely. You don't hit your set, it's much easier to get away from. You haven't committed much funds to this pot, so it's not thinking to yourself, I'll win for a penny, in for a pound type of thing, which a lot of players do sometimes. They think, oh, I've put so much into it, let's put a bit more. and they keep chasing losers, and you know, they are just losers at the end.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. These hands are losers. They're not going to win. Yeah, it's an interesting predicament to be in. You have to be very aware, obviously. Anyone doing anything early position, you've always got to be aware of what they could possibly have and try and define what they have by betting in some format. You know, you've got to accept that sometimes you have to bet to lose a little beforehand rather than lose a lot later.
Yes.
Because the last thing you want to do is with a pair of tens, flop comes 8-4-2, the guy's sitting there with a pair of kings, you've got a pair of tens, you thinking that your tens are good, and you're now about to put the rest of your money in.
You want to try and pinpoint what they've got.
It's important, especially when someone's raising early position.
Like you say, it costs you a bit, but if you don't do that, it could end up costing you a lot more later.
Yeah, and it has so many benefits, because by raising, if the guy is sitting there with ace, jack, ace, queen, you know, perhaps maybe in a pair of eights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you now have the lead in the betting, which means that you can now bluff at the pot. You've got the bluffing rights. When you've got the lead in the betting, you've got the bluffing rights to actually decide whether you're going to be the person to bluff at this pot or not. The guy it's much harder for the guy to now bluff, because the whole story doesn't make sense if he starts coming out betting when you've the last person to bet.
Yes.
Yeah. So it puts you. Plus, you've obviously got the position, so it makes you in a very, very strong position by raising there. But you've got to raise with certain hands. Certain hands it's just worth calling with.
Okay.
That would be the technically correct way to play, I think. Having said that, a lot of top players will only just flat call in that situation. You know, with you know, a pair of nines, a pair of tens. You know, but they have such strong reading ability post flop that they can afford to do that.
Yes, and if you don't have that, the only way to find out is by betting, because that's the only way you are going to get a read, unless, like you say, you are one of the top players and you just have that. Some of them just have a natural ability, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, it's much more difficult.
Experience as well, which helps.
Yeah, you've got the years of experience. Plus, you know, the top players we're talking about are doing it in a much more, usually in a live environment.
Yeah.
So they've got that little bit more information, whereas online you don't have a lot of information. You've got a limited time to act. You know, so there's a lot of there's less things going for you. Well, it's an interesting hand here for 2960. He's got trip aces, and Latinator has got a pretty nice hand himself. He's got a pair of fours on what looks to be an unscary board. So now 2960 hasn't got a 7 here. That's pretty clear. And the reason it's clear is because had he had the 7, he would come out betting. He wouldn't take a chance on you hitting one of your overcards to his 7. So by calling, he's basically saying, okay, I haven't got a 7. I've either got another pocket pair. Yes. Of 6s or 5s or 3s or 2s.
Or I do have the ace and I'm...
Or I've got an ace, exactly.
Cagey.
Yeah, or I'm trying to trap you. That's exactly right. Now this would be real sneaky play if he decided to actually check here. I mean, seeing the cards, that would be the best thing, but you know, in reality, he wants to try and get some value out of this. And that's probably a good price, I think. Wow, what a fold. Good fold.
Yeah. Disciplined?
Very quick, and what was impressive is the speed that he done it with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit worrying actually when they do it that quick. But you obviously thought of him of the ace, and yeah, good getaway. And 2960 will be upset they didn't earn something. So we've seen some good level of skill here on this table. It's only a 5 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent game, but it's been pretty good. We've seen some very good folds. So these players are playing well above the level here. There's not a lot of free money going on this table so far. They've all been playing pretty well. So ace-4, not so good for Pascal, as it was for 2960. He's got nothing. But, Louis is just saying, well, if you don't want it, I'll bet and see if I can take it. And he worked it out correctly, and there's nothing Pascal can do in that situation. Wasn't a good flop for him. And there wasn't a lot of money in the pot, so he just let it go. Understandable.
I am very impressed with the level of play on this table.
They've been playing very well. I must congratulate these guys. They've been playing very well. You'd never see this on most tables, a 5 cent, 10 cent table playing at this level.
It's not really true to...
I don't think so, no. No, I think they're playing way beyond their means. Sorry, not beyond their means, beyond their what we would anticipate as their skill level.
Yes. They're on TV. They've got reputations to keep up, you see.
Yeah, well, they're certainly doing that. They're playing. These guys are playing well. It's nice to see. And a bit scary at the same time, really, to see 5 cent, 10 cent players playing this well. Because you can think of, if they're playing this well, then what are the other guys doing?
We always say that it's very true. We could go to a $25, $50 cash game and see a couple of players making some awful moves, but they've just got a lot of money to spend.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't necessarily mean the higher you move up that the worse, the better the players are. You know, that's not necessarily the case. It is generally the case, but it's not always the case.
Yes.
That's the thing to remember about poker and anything.
If you've got the bankroll, you don't have to be great to play at that level, as long as you can afford to play at that table.
Yeah, it's just about bankroll.
But of course it is generally the case where you would get a better standard on those tables.
Yeah, you know, if we're talking about someone who's wants to take up poker and he's a multi-millionaire, he's not going to get too much thrill out of winning, you know, 15 pence, is he?
No.
So, you know, he'll want to play at a bigger level where the money actually means something. That's the key. You know, playing poker is all about where the money actually has some kind of value towards you, you know, for you. If it has absolutely zero meaning to you, then you're not playing right.
Well, I guess as well, if you do make a bad move and lose a pot, it needs to hurt a bit. Otherwise...
Just one sec, Lynn. Just look at this. We've got Louis, who's picked up a flush draw, and of course Sausages has now picked up the house. And he's wondering how he can get paid now. He really doesn't want 29.60. Oh, this is going to be curtains. Curtains for Louis, that is.
Yes, his flush.
And that's a great card for Sausages. Really is a superb card. Now, Louis, will he just have the fortitude to just call this? Or does he think that, yeah, he has. And that's a very disciplined... This is a great call by Louis. I say it's a great call. He had to call in that situation, but it's a great call, and great that he only lost the minimum.
Because he could have re-raised there, and you could have lost a lot more.
Well, you see, you have to, in poker, you have to decide. You have to decide what your players are on. The guy, you could have thought that maybe the guy's on a straight draw. Maybe he's on a bigger flush draw. So you've got to decide. You've got to if he's on the straight, then I'm winning.
Yes, because he only had the queen high, so maybe he was slightly concerned.
Maybe the king is out there, the ace, yeah. So he done very, very well. That was looking ominous there for Louis, but he got out of it like a magician. Good play, guy. Very good play indeed. And top pair for 29.60. So we decided to go all in. He doesn't want to take any chances. And he thinks, I've got the best hand here. And Louis will make a good fold here. Good fold once again. And hopefully it won't affect Louis too much, because he's had to fold a few big hands and a few decent hands. And I just hope he can carry on doing it. It'd be a shame if he didn't, because he is playing well and he's made some good things. But sometimes you get to a point where you're just fed up of folding. Yes. And you think, I can't keep folding all the time. These guys can't keep having hands against me. But Louis, I'll tell you this, they can. Sometimes they just can have hands against you. Sometimes you get nights where they just always seem to pip you. You have two pair, they have a better two pair.
Yeah.
You have a straight, they've got a bigger straight or a flush. You know, it always seems to happen. So, you know, just if that's one of those nights, you've just got to accept that it will happen.
It does happen,
It does, yeah. You've just got to let ego get out of the way and say, OK, well, it does happen sometimes. This is perhaps one of those nights. Let's just get out of here, take a break and walk away. So we'll just see one more hand here, shall we?
Yes, I've got lots of emails, lots of answers to our killer question as well. Of course, I'm not giving you the answer until after midnight.
OK, but you know the answer, I take it?
I know the answer, yes,
okay.
I know the answer.
Just checking, you know. So A7 suited for Pascal. He's decided to put a little bet in here. Got a little call. And these seem to be action hands, don't they? We've got Pascal, who's got a middle pair. He probably wants to, he's got the lead in the betting, so I'm sure he wants to come out with some kind of bet. And he does, and that's a fair bet. And Louis calling him, he likes that now. That's a lovely card for Louis. And he can take it either way. He can either flat call a bet from Pascal, if there is one, or he probably wants to put something in this pot. He probably wants to make it 40 or something. He wants to tempt him. Oh, that's too big. Yeah, he's going to lose him, and he does. Yeah, and the reason he just wants to put a little bit of something, he doesn't mind pot building in this situation.
Right.
Because he's got a redraw, which means that he's got a decent hand, he's got a top pair, plus he's got a draw to an even better hand, a flush. So he can afford to actually just pot build in that situation, trying to swell the pot up for, if he hits his club or, he's got the best hand anyway. So
just made it too big.
Yeah, he actually almost said, I don't want you in this pot, when really he did. He wanted to pot build. That would have been the best thing. So.
We're talking about a flush before, and I think it was Louis only having the queen high flush. I've got an email from Bigas who says, I'm quite new to the game, but not that new, so I was surprised when I thought I had misunderstood hand rankings. With flushes, is it only the highest card in the flush which decides which hand is better? For example, if two players both have 5 hearts and the ace of hearts is on the board, is it always a split pot?
No, it won't be a split pot. In fact, if 2 players have a flush, it can only be a split pot if all 5 cards are higher than the other 2 players. So, for example, if the flush is ace, king, jack, 10, 9, all hearts, and one player has 6 of hearts, and the other guy has 2, 3 of hearts, then it will be a split pot. Why? Because the 5 cards on the board are beating anything that's in their hand.
That's the best 5 card hand. Yeah. Otherwise, it goes to the player with the second
card,
highest
the
card.
third card, fourth card.
So it would be if one of them had the king of hearts, they would be the winner.
Absolutely, yeah. You take the best 5 card hand, and if that happens to be mixing with your cards, it's the highest card. And if you happen to have one of the highest cards, then it doesn't have to be the first necessarily the ace or the first highest card. It can be the second, the third, the fourth. Even if it's the last one, it happens sometimes where one will have it'll be ace, king, jack, 10 on the board. So 4 hearts, and one person has the 9 and the other person has the 8. So he's just pipped him. So it will go down to the 5th card if necessary.
There you go, Bigas. I hope that's cleared it up for you. And Bigas also says, I was also curious as to how much online poker you both play. What type of games do you play in, and do you always win? Well, the answer to the last one is no, for me anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but I play quite a lot, depending on how much I'm working. I always play tournaments, actually, not cash games. I've started playing more MTTs since we've been watching them on Poker Night Live, but normally just single table tournaments.
Yeah, for me, I haven't played New Weeks. I've just been involved with other things, which has distracted me. But generally, I'll play cash games, I'll play tournaments. Tournaments can range anything up to a couple of $100, $200 or $300 sometimes. And cash games will be anywhere between 2, 4 and 5, 10 typically, multi-tabling, playing 2 or 3 tables at those levels. Yeah, the sort of games I play. And do I always win? No, definitely not. You can't always win in poker, and that's the thing that...
even the best players don't always win.
No, you've got to accept that sometimes there'll be losing sessions, and it's about deciding... The problem is when you do lose, it affects how you play the rest of the time. So if you feel it adversely affecting you, then that's the time to just quit. So no, you can't always win, but obviously what you're trying to do is win perhaps 7 out of 10 sessions.
Don't forget as well, we've got our killer question. Which poker player shares his birthday with the devil? It's the 6th of the 6/06 tomorrow. Nikki says, is it Joe Hatcham who was born on the devil's birthday? I remember seeing an interview where he describes being born in the summer as his first memory. It was being in the maternity ward, and the smell of cut grass and barbecues floated under his newborn cherubim nose. No, Nikki, that's actually the wrong answer, but what a lovely email. 84222 if you think, put the word poker at the start of your message, or you can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We'll read some more of your guesses out when we come back after the break. We've also got Beat the Presenter, loads more poker, and we'll give you the answer to the killer question after midnight. So stick around and we'll see you soon.
Good evening and welcome back to Poker Night Live. I'm going to be doing the presenting and the hosting while Lyndsay battles it out on the tables.
Multitasking, Mark.
Multitasking, absolutely. So good luck there. How's it going so far? Okay.
It's okay so far. Yes, I'm steady as you go so far, but it's still in the very early stages. So.
Okay, excellent. Well, we'll be having a look at that at the top of the show in about midnight as it turns to 060606. So it should be interesting. So without further ado, let me give you a quick reminder of how you can get in contact with us. We've got a fully interactive show for you this evening, as always, and there are a couple of ways you can contact the show. The first way is by 84222. That's the number. You want to text it. Text the word poker to you 84222. Put your message in. Put your name at the bottom, and myself or Lyndsay will read it out live on air. As well as that, you can actually email the show, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, don't forget to have a look at our website. We've got a fabulous website, lots of good stuff on there, www.pokernightlive.co.uk. So while Lyndsay plays out her tournament there, we shall have a little look at a cash game and see how these boys play out. Now, this one is going to be a little bit bigger than the last one we saw. It's in fact a 50-cent $1 cash game, so quite a bit bigger. So this should be interesting indeed. Well, need I say more? The 7-8 is taking the lead here. Now, what will Argy think about that? Now, Goose has got an inside straight draw. Doesn't want to call for it. I don't blame him, not with a paired board. And, well, Argy folds. Can you believe that? There you are. There's a strong play by the suited version of my favourite hand, and that was very strong play by Lavo, and I quite like it. And the reason I quite like it, there was a good chance that he was ahead, and the only way he's going to find out if he's ahead is by betting. The problem being for Lavo is if he doesn't bet, then someone can easily take it away over bluff when they've got nothing, because he just doesn't know what they've got. So they'll bet, and he has to say, okay, well, I don't know if you got it or not. You know, I'll assume that you have and just throw it away. So that's the problem. When you don't bet, you just don't have any answers. So you got an answer there, all right? And it says here, you have them. Well, this is a bit bigger than the one we saw before. Maximum buying for this table is $100. Minimum buying is $10. So, or anywhere in between. If you manage to get, like Loomis has, who's a regular player on the show, and look at that, he's just flopped. Well, in fact, he's turned a straight, so that's very nice for him. And Caesar is wondering whether he wants to go for his inside straight draw. That's all he's got at the moment. He needs a 9 for it to happen. Of course, he does make it, then Loomis will be in all sorts of trouble. 4, 5, 6, 7. He's wondering, oh, he's gone for the bottom end of the straight draw. 10, Jack, Queen, King for Caesar. That's no good. 4, 5, 6, 7. No good for Goose. Loomis won't get paid here. And Goose can only fold. Yeah, he could obviously re-raise if he thought that he was at it, but he doesn't want to re-raise on a board like that. Loomis has shown strength all the way through, and well done, Sam. Nice play. He was hoping that they caught a bit more of that, maybe 2 pair or something, but unfortunately they weren't. So Loomis has got a huge chip lead on this table. He can only buy in like everyone else for $100, but he's now sitting there with 221. So he's been doing something right over the course of this session. So well done. Got a lot of moves to him, has Loomis, but that's a nice thing about being someone with a lot of moves. It means when you do make big hands, you also get paid on them as well. So that means that your variance will be a lot higher, be up and down a lot more, but well, Goose has put in a raise there of 3, and oh look, minimum raise there from Bolsar. Now that should really stink to Goose. And Lucy is looking for a miracle, and that's not it. And no one's got a heart in their hand, so there's barring running 10s for Lucy. Pulsar's going to get this, and barring running 8s for Goose, he's going to get this. Well, he'll want to bet here. He won't want to give any free cards. He's got a nice hand. He's got a set of kings. However, a king 10 ace board. Oh, look at this. Lucy is, well, Lucy thinks she's just hit the miracle card. But that's not it. She needs another one of those for it to happen. And she's now going to check raise, no doubt, thinking that she's trapping Pulsar. But that's not a good play there by Lucy, I've got to say. Calling when there's a possible flush, a possible straight on the board is not good. just to hit your second or pair or your set, which might not be any good because you might be drawing thin. And look at this. Now Pulsar is thinking, oh, how can I get more out of Lucy here? And he's just flat called. He wants to 21. He's going to stick that in, and Lucy's going to pay him. That might... Oh, she might just flat call here. Yeah, just flat called in the end because the jack was now scary for Lucy, wondering. But no, you don't want to do, and that's the thing you want to try and avoid, Lucy and anyone that does those kind of moves. When you're calling, I don't mind it. If you feel that you can take it away from the person, if you've got position on the person, then that's something else. However, you don't want to call it when there's a possible straight and a possible flush on the board, for the simple reason that, you know, at the end of the day, it's just going to be, you might be drawing to the worst hand all the way. So winner gooses that one on the winner. So Jack 9 for Lucy Goosey. Well, Lucy's likes to play many hands, and I don't really like the calling with the Jack 9 in early position. I don't mind it if you're sort of in later position, maybe 2 or 3 hands, 2 or 3 positions later. Not 2, in fact, even that's too early. 3 positions later would be just about okay. Well, Caesar is saying, I've got the best hand. I feel I've got the best hand. If you happen to have... Well, he's taking a bit of a risk there, but so far he's so good, although a 10 will do it for Lucy as well as a Jack or a 9. And it's not to arrive, so queens and 2s with an ace beats queens and 2s with a jack. Caesar took a bit of a risk there, but he thought, well, if anyone's going to pay me, it's going to be Lucy. She's been playing a lot of hands for some reason. That's something you like, Lucy. I don't know whether she's on tilt or whether she's taken a couple of bad beats and now trying to recover that. Well, I said, my advice to Lucy, if that is the case, is just to stop playing for a bit, Lucy. Sometimes these things happen, and the last thing you want to do is do even more chips. And nothing really to think about for Lucy. It's a horrible hand to call with. Sure, you've got... in fact, you haven't even got position on the table. You don't know what Caesar's going to do. He might decide to re-raise. So a simple fold here, and that's good play. Folding can also be the right play, and that's the thing to remember. And I will say hello to QP. I've just seen your little chat box message there.
Hmm? Oh, they're a chatty bunch tonight. I hope they're all sending answers into our killer question as well. Which poker player shares his birthday with the devil? That's what we want to know, because it's the 6th of the 6th, 06 at midnight. Do, do, do.
Ooh, sounds scary, especially when you do that. So Pulsar has got the up and down straight draw, and Loomis has not much here, but Pulsar probably won't want to give this up too easily. He doesn't, and that's a nice card for Loomis, who's just hit top pair, and he's got a 9 high flush draw, which isn't terrible because there's a jack and an ace on the board, so he's only losing to a king or a queen, and of course we can see the queen is out there, but Loomis will want to pay this because his 9 isn't that great. And he's still calling, and he's hit it. Oh dear, that's unlucky for Loomis. He's now... Pulsar took a big risk there, really, although he was chasing the flush as well, so I can understand why he'd want to play that way. And, well, Loomis has just done well to not pay him off, and Pulsar didn't get paid. So that's the problem, isn't it? He chased and chased and chased and eventually hit and didn't get anything for it. Anything extra, that is. And of course, you want to get paid something when you hit those hands, so he thought that maybe Loomis will put another bet out there. But the only way he was going to do that, Loomis, is if he absolutely had nothing or a very weak hand indeed. He wasn't going to do it with top pair, and just in case he thought someone outdrew him. Well, Lucy, what's she going to do? Well, she missed a small blind by the looks of it, so she had to post small blind, think, well, I'm in there for half anyway. I'm getting 8 to 1 my money, I might as well call. Okay, that's fair enough, I guess. The only problem is that when this happens, Now, will Argy bet here, or will he leave the betting? I don't mind a little bet here of maybe $2.50, something like that, $2 even. Build the pot a little bit. $2 would probably be my preferred bet in this situation. Liam goes for 3, that's okay too. And Lucy's going to call, and Sturty probably might think he's got the best hand. What's he going to do? He's just decided a flat call. And, well, this is something that Argy wants to fold up now. He wants to put in a big bet at this case. I would be looking to put in a close to a pot-sized bet. And he's done the right thing. He just doubles the bet now. Now that he's gone all in, he just doubles it. He's created a side pot, and that's the right thing to do. He doesn't need to put a big bet there. Now that Caesar's all in, he can just create a separate pot, making it 2 pots. One for him and Caesar, and one for him and whoever else wants to enter. So Caesar doesn't hit any more than just the jacks, and we lose Caesar from the cash game table. So we're watching a 50-cent $1 cash game. This is what I would call small to medium stake cash game. It's a game where certainly if you're a beginner, you wouldn't want to be playing at this level. This is a beyond the beginner level, a little bit short of, I would say, just reaching out to intermediate level. It's a nice little game to play this, because you do have to put in $100 to play this, or you can put in as little as 10, but that generally won't get you very far. So Loomis has announced to the table he's captain today, and Loomis the captain is dictating how things are going. Captain Loomis. It's got a sort of a ring to it, hasn't it?
Yes.
Aye, aye, captain. So one moment is got the king 6, doesn't want to do anything with that. Sturty, he might put in a little bet here with his... no, he's got a bit of a problem there, Sturty, because he's got Loomis, who's an aggressive player, to his left. And he's got a big chip lead, so he's probably going to have to be a little bit more selective. If he had a few more chips, he probably wouldn't be so selective. Oh, look at that, he's going to kick himself now, because Sturty had the king 9, and he might think, oh, this is not my day, my timing is off. Look, I'm down to $22. I had a chance to double my stack there or get some more money into it, and I just threw it away. So that's the problem. You see, when you play with a short stack, you're playing a little bit scared sometimes. And had he had $100 in front of him, he might have decided to take a little steal with king 9 on the button. That's not a bad hand to do it with. Loomis is making that same play with king jack. And Lucy won't fold this. We know, we've seen her play lots of different hands. And, well, it's worked out pretty nice for Lucy, who, if she checks this, will give Loomis the chance to bluff at it, and then she can put a little bet out. But the way she's deliberating, I'd guess that she's going to put a bet herself. No, she doesn't. That's sensible. Let Loomis bet. And got aces up. Decided to make a small raise. And Lucy probably wants to finish this one off now, because the board is starting to straighten. And ace 3 isn't as strong as it once was. Yeah, puts a little value bet in there, and will Loomis pay? This has been strong play all the way from Lucy, and I'll be surprised if Loomis pays off. He's probably got... did he pay off? He did, yeah, he did pay off. And I think Curiosity got the better of Loomis there. You know, she played it strongly, where she check raised on the flop, called a decent raise post-flop, pre-flop, check raised on the flop when an ace was there. I think she was giving the answer to Loomis, and Loomis just didn't want to listen, really. I think he was just, Curiosity got the better of him, and he thought, OK, I want to see what her hand is. But you don't need to pay to see it. You just have to accept Loomis that she's got a better hand. Finished. Let's go on to the next one. Why just give your money to her? It basically cost you $10 to see a couple of cards. It's not worth it. But prior to that, I think it was where the errors were anyway. She played it very strong, and I think once someone does that, then you know, they've called a pre-flop raise from you. Then, you know, if they happen to be doing the odd move on you, then so be it. But you must remember, Loomis, one of the things that you haven't incorporated into your game is that the fact that you are an aggressive player, people will be less inclined to do moves with you. They're worried about you playing back at them, so they're less likely to play moves. If you're a passive player or a tight player, then they are more likely. Why? Because they know you can get away with it a lot more. You can get away with these kind of moves a lot more with passive and tight players than you can with, you know, aggressive players. So you find that most people won't try, unless they don't know who you are, they won't try and do it. So just something to bear in mind. But he's still sitting pretty nicely. He's got $185 in front of him. Well, not a great hand, and he's probably cool with this, I think. He's too small to scare off this. Yeah, in fact, done better. He raised. Well, and that's a call from one. I think I would have preferred a call just from Pulsar there. Well, weakness is now shown over to 1. Now, is it weak because, that's the question, is it weak because you've got a weak ace, you've got ace 3 or ace 2 or ace 5? Or is it because you've got maybe a strong jack? Or a draw? What is it? And I think one tried to put a stop bet in there, and it worked, I guess, but lost some money in the pot by doing that. So Lucy with the king 9, and I like the play. If you're going to play king 9, then why not? Why not make a raise with it? She's in late position. Why not? Absolutely. It's been a part of the cash games is about stealing blinds, no matter what the blind levels. It's all pro rata, so you've got to steal those blinds every now and again. And if you don't get away with it, then you've just built the pot up, and you never know. You've got position. You might win it in other ways. Well, nothing here for Sturty or Lucy, but it's been checked twice to Lucy, so Lucy probably wants to put a bet out here. Once you get someone checking twice to you in a pot like that, then it's fair to say that they've probably got not much part of it. So Argyle Jack with the king 10, he wants to have a little look from early position. And not sure I want to do it with king 10, but anyway. Loosey Goosey having a little look, saying, well, if you're going to look, I'll have a little look too. It's a bit too early for me with Jack 10 as well. They are connected, and it's a nice hand, but I'd like to have it in later position, where 1 is that sort of position. I don't mind playing king 10, 9, Jack 10, that sort of hand. Don't really want to do it in that. It's too early to be doing it from where Argyle's sitting or Loosey Goosey sitting. Maybe 10 Jack suited from where Loosey Goosey's sitting. I might be slightly more tempted, but not unsuited. So Pulsar has got top pair here, and he doesn't want to be playing against 4 or 5 other players, so he's elected to put out a bet. I don't mind the play. I think it's the right play. Now the problem here for most of the other players is they don't actually know whether Pulsar has the best hand or not, because they've all checked. And now Pulsar could be doing this with absolute nothing. He could be doing this with 6-7. Why? Because he's seen weakness. Now, true to say that not many players will bet into, or will bet or bluff into a 5-6 way pot. So that's less likely. But, you know, if you do leave the door open, people are going to walk through every now and again. So 2-3 here for 1. I'm sure he's not going to play that. Sturty with the king 10. Bit of better position this time. He's in the cutoff. Don't mind a little raise here from Sturty. Once again, he's got not many chips. That's the only problem. And Lumas is playing my favourite, 7-8, suited this time. And let's see what's going to happen here. King 7, nothing for Lucy. Sturty's hit top pair, so that's looking pretty good for him. And if Sturty bets, and it is a simple fold for Lumas, why? Because Sturty is not giving him any implied odds, and he does exactly the right thing. Well done, Lumas. Maybe if he had a few more chips, you might want to take it away from him if you thought he had nothing, but when he's got so few chips, he's giving you no implied odds that even if you do hit some kind of miracle runner or, you know, it's just not worth getting involved with that guy. Plus, you've got one other person to get concerned about. You don't know what they're going to do in early positions, so folding was the right option. And Sturtey's found his voice. He's now put the second raise in succession, this time with King Jack. King 2 for Pulsar, he won't get involved with that, nor will Sturtey. I'm sure Loomis won't either, but Argyle Jack might take a little peek. And I don't mind either what he does here, whether he raises or flat calls. It's a nice little drawing hand too. You don't always have to raise. You can mix it up a bit. You want to raise a little more than average in that position, but you don't always have to do it. It gets a bit predictable after a while if you keep doing the same thing with the same type of hands. So a limp here isn't a bad thing. Probably what I would have done, I think. Especially under the gun. The only thing I do have to watch out for is be very conscious of what one is limping in with. In fact, sorry, he hasn't limped in, what am I saying? He's on the big blind, so that doesn't really matter. So he's got, I'm surprised that Argyle didn't use his position there. He had a good chance to make a bluff at it, and he hasn't. So Argyle should do now. He's had it twice checked to him. He's got 2 overcards, so he should put, he's missed opportunity. Well, that's the thing. If you limp in that situation, well, he's actually hit the best hand now, and he's going to get some money out of Lucy. How much is, well, that's probably it. Yeah. And one is thinking, that came too late, my straight draw, I just missed. But I think Argyle didn't have to wait to hit his queen. He could have just taken it without any risk. He had 2 people check to him twice. They're basically telling you, I've got nothing on that board, I've missed. The only thing they could be, and of course what you want to do, Argyle, is make them pay for any draws they've got. So if they've got some kind of draw, then at least you can boost the pot up a little bit.
I wonder if anyone's got the right answer to our question yet, Mark.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't heard the question posed by Lyndsay earlier, it is: which famous poker player shares his birthday with the devil? Of course, we're saying that because the day we're talking about is approaching very, very shortly, in fact. So, which is going to be 060606. So,
Damien.
Yeah.
Scary.
Well, Pulsar's got a straight draw, and he's done the right thing there. He's bet it into a guy that hasn't got many chips, and that's the right way to play that situation. And that's the difference. You do have to adjust your play according to the people with the chip stacks around you. He knows that Sturtey doesn't want to put in too many chips unnecessarily into a pot with weak hands, so he's less likely to fold. So he's done the right thing there, Pulsar. Well, Loomis with a 9-3. He decided he doesn't want any part of it. And I don't blame him, he's missed it completely. Always scary when you got that ace on the board. So a couple of the answers you don't want to send in if you're listening. Oh, look at this before I do that. Look at this. We've got 4 pocket pairs against each other. This is going to be carnage. And Loomis has pretty much done the right thing here by raising. The only problem is, and he's not going to be able to fold, I don't think, for the extra bit of money. Oh, look at that. The 4s even wants to get involved. Sturtey's doing that. And... well, Lucy can't think that 4s are any good now, but she decided to call, and look at that, just if it wasn't good enough, it's now got even better. Loomis probably wanted, and I'm surprised he didn't do it actually, a 10 will get him out of this, or a diamond. No, it doesn't appear. What I think Loomis's only error there really was to minimum raise once Sturtey had gone all in, to create a side pot with Lucy Goosey. Because, okay, he might not be beating Sturtey, or he might not even be beating Lucy, but if he can beat, but at least if he's not beating Sturtey, he can get a side pot going with Lucy, and hopefully he's beating her. But if they've got aces and kings, then it's just bad luck. So Loomis has lost a few chips since we've been watching. No fault of his own there really with the queens, I don't think. I think it was going to be very hard for him to fold that situation.
Must be an interesting game. This is not like me to keep my concentration for this long.
So, ace-9 for Lucy. This one she takes. So, ace-jack for 1. He'll want to play this. We saw him play much worse hand earlier from early position. Ace-7. Decided Sturty. Don't like this. He's got a few chips and now he wants to give them away with ace-7. That's not a good play. Sorry, Sturty. Don't like ace-7 being played in that situation. If it was suited, I don't mind. Look for your flush. If you don't hit a flush draw, then get out of there. But not with ace-7 offsuit. It's a nasty little hand. You don't know what one's, limped in with. And, it's just not a hand you want to call. Oh, no, he does the right thing. He eventually folds. So he's lost $1 out of that. So, well, look at this. Very strong play here by Argyle. I like it. He's got the lead in the betting and he's followed through with a nice bet and he's taken it down. Well, he's instilled the fear there. Nice one. So a pair of 8s for Levo on the big blind. And Pulsar, he's... I don't know why he wants to play ace-6 all of a sudden. And Loomis has said, I want to play with you, but I don't want to be flat calling. And Levo has got the best hand, he just folds. Got a raise and a re-raise, and he says, I don't want to play. I don't blame him, because he doesn't know what Pulsar's going to do. Doesn't know whether he's going to come over the top again. And he folds. Loomis wins with the king-queen. Well done, Loomis. Now, see, he plays king-queen the way it should be played. None of this unraised pot business. So top pair for Pulsar. He's going to like this. He wants to put a little bit of a milky bet in there. Bet half the pot. He's saying to, come on Argyle, come inside, the water's warm. Unfortunately Argyle's got no part of that and he's got spades against him as well. He won't want to get involved. Don't blame him. Simple fold there really. Time to be aggressive and time not to be. And that was a good example of it. Argyle showed a moment ago when he had a good, what he felt was a good read on a table. He thought they were playing weak hands. And he thought he could bully them off. In that moment, he was aggressive. But in a moment, just a moment after, he wasn't at all. He decided to give it up. So, and that's the dynamics of poker. There are times when you need to be aggressive, and at times when you just need to back off. And it's getting that right, and that's the difficult thing. You find that a lot of players just want to be overly aggressive all the time, and of course that doesn't work. No more so than being, overly passive all the time. It is a mixture of the two, and you've got to have a read of the game so that you know when to do it. You've got to have a feel for things. So, King-Queen against Ace-5. Levo's got a bit of this. He won't like that extra diamond appearing, though, so he'll want to try and close things down now. Bets half the pot, just in case Lucy was on some kind of diamond. It also looks like he wants to milk her, so Levo wins that one. Queen 2. Could play it. Don't mind a fold or a raise here. Don't want to call with it. And Levo, well, he folded. I think that's probably because he just won the last pot. It's a bit of a surprise there that Levo folded. And if I'm not mistaken, I think, I can't remember exactly what hand it was, but it was certainly a decent enough hand to raise with. Argyle with the 8-5, he won't want to get involved. Oh, quick succession of folds, and never time to have a look at those hands. Queen 9 for Polestar, he won't want to fold this. Don't mind a little limp in here every now and again. Change it, don't always have to come in with a raise. Gets a bit too predictable for my liking if you keep doing that, so why not have a little limp? Well, doesn't want to, wants to bet. And Sturty has said no, and Loomis got out of the way, and I don't blame him. He doesn't want to play ace rag with three-handed, out of position. He's done the right thing. In fact, he's so out of position, he's actually in the worst possible position. He's not first to act, and he's not last to act. So you can't get any worse than that. At least if you're in first position, you've got some position in your favour. You can at least bet on the turn. Whereas if you feel that your opponent is weak, or bet on the flop if you feel that it warrants it. However, when you're in the middle there, you're not acting first, you're not acting last, it's the worst position to be in. A6 for Lucy. Won't want to call here. So, a pair of 10s for Nick N1. He's on a small blind. Now this will be interesting because Argyle's got a nice hand, and I can't see anyone... Well, having said that, Loomis will probably put in a bet here with Ace-2 suited. Let's see. Will he put in a bet, or will he just flat call? He puts in a bet, but he's going to get re-raised now by Nick. No. Well, that's the thing. Nick probably haven't been playing much with Sam. Oh, look at that. This could be curtains for Nick. I say curtains for him because he's got the best hand, and yet he's likely to throw it away when Sam puts in another big bet. He's likely to... What's he going to do here, Sam? He's just flat called. He's looking to hit his flush. Or his ace, of course. That's not a nice card for Nick. He's now losing to any 8 or any king. And Sam, if he wants to nick this, he's going to have to... He's going to have to re-raise. Well, that looks like a weird bet from Nick, actually, because unless Nick's sitting there with King 8, he would have to think, well, hold on a sec, what's he betting with on the end there? Surely he must be scared of the 8. So, but he didn't. He come out betting. He actually did put a good value bet in there, which acted also as a stop bet, and it worked a treat. It actually got him off, got off Sam putting in a big bet and forcing Nick out of it. So nice play there by Nick. So 2 pair for Lucy. She's going to like that. And re-raise. Oh! The mistake there was, I've got to say, it was a little bit of a mistake. Lucy pressed that raise button a bit too quickly. She really needed to put in a much bigger bet on the turn there. Now, we might have seen Argyle call anyway, but the point was the correct play would have been to put a bigger bet. You don't want to give them a draw with what was sort of 2 low pairs like that. Whilst 2 pair is a very nice hand, it is very vulnerable, especially when there's already 4 cards out there. You do want to tie it up. And once he's re-raised you want to just shove your chips in. You know, the problem being is that when you just make a minimum raise like that, you're giving him huge odds to call for any particular kind of draw. So you're charging him the wrong price. So look at this. This could be curtains for Lucy too. Whoa, what a poor run she's having. She's got the king high flush draw, plus... well, I was going to say, yeah, well, just a king high flush draw, and... problem being is that Lavo's actually got a nut flush, so she's drawing dead. And Lucy's missed. That's her last saving grace. because Lavo won't leave this. He's going to put a bet in here. And Lucy can't call anymore. Well, that's been a couple of disastrous hands there for Lucy. Bit unlucky as well in the way things turned out, but I think just acting a little bit too quick. I think you just got to slow things down a little bit, Lucy. When you make decisions, take your time, take that, use the 10 seconds that are allowed to you to decide how you play, rather than just acting too quickly. And I think the bet was just too shallow on that turn. So, Pulsar realises that his threes is probably the one that's in the lead, and he does the right thing by betting it out. Yeah, King, King 6. Good chance your threes are winning. And he done exactly the right thing. Well, one will probably just throw this away. He does. No point getting involved with 4-3 in a small blind. So, King 7 and a limp from 1. That's more of a hand I'll be more tempted to actually raise with. Because it's just this hand that doesn't make any straights. It's not going to make any flushes. You really need to try and win it pre-flop if you can. Because if you hit a king, are you winning? All these hands are... all these things are problematic. Well, it's worked out okay for him because he's got the best hand by a pip beating Pulsar, who's probably quite happy to keep paying him off with top pair. And one will just call. Yeah, I don't blame him. That board was starting to look a little bit scary. So he got a little bit of money out of there. But I think a bet there pre-flop would have been better. That's one of the more hands I would be less inclined to limp with. I don't mind limping with Queen Jack. Things that have some potential, but King 7 has very little potential, so I want to try and win with that hand pre-flop if I can, if I'm going to play it. And the way of winning pre-flop is obviously by betting. Okay, we're going to take a break from this table, I think. Are we going to see this hand? No, we're not going to see it. Okay, so let's have a look at our multi-table tournament, which is one that we popped into earlier. Now, the blinds when we popped in were 10-20. As you can see, they've escalated to 200, 400 now. So a lot of action going on here. And Coco Pops, we just see him come in there with a raise with 1200 from early position. Doesn't look like he's going to get a caller, though. Harley might be tempted, but don't think he will. And Biggs would love to play this hand, I'm sure. But the problem is he's got no chips to play it with. And he decides to fold. And Semtex decides to fold too. So, yeah, not a lot you could really do there, I don't think. Biggin. Well, he's now picked up another hand, Coco Pops. This time Ace Queen. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to put the same bet again. He does. And no one can call him. They've actually got nothing. So in two hands, he's picked up 1200, which has changed his stack very nicely indeed. It's added about, well, about 25% to his stack, I think.
I think I'm playing in the world's tightest tournament, Mark.
Wow. Yeah.
The blinds are massive and there's still only one player gone.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. Should be a good viewing.
It'll be interesting to watch this back because I seriously think this is the tightest table I've ever played at. Yeah.
I played on the first one I ever played, it was tighter. Yeah, actually, we didn't have one player gone out until this level. But so we'll see how that progresses. And King Jack takes it down. Hayesh moves up. This is the only time in these tournaments where the blinds are a little bit on the heavy side compared to the chips. But generally, this is a really good tournament. The blinds are usually allow for lots of play. They're all started with 1,500 worth of chips. There was one rebuy, one add-on allowed, which gave them a potential another 3,000 to add to their stack. Of course, the rebuy is only when you lose your chips, you can actually rebuy back in. Or is it half? I'm not sure on this one. And the add-on is taken at the very end no matter how many chips you have, you can just add on for an extra $10. So it does mean that we have created a prize pool here. And prize pool is, let's have a quick look. Well, as I said, 82 players started, so they all would have forked out $10, which meant 820 immediately goes into the pot. And it's created a prize pool of, let's see, 2,200 and... No, that's not right, is it? Let's have a look. I'll have to work that one out. Oh, there it is, $1,490. So first place will actually get 447. So it's been a fairly passive event then, really, because with 82 players and between them only having what equivalent to what is half a rebuy each, that is very unusual on these tables. Usually you tend to find a lot more wild play. Usually find that usually around 2.25 times is the amount of rebuys and add-ons they'll have. Around 2.25. So we should be seeing about slightly double of what the original starting stack would have been. So about 1640, and it's only 1490, so it's a little bit down of what you'd expect. Well, Harley's gone all in with his bottom pair. And I don't think, Biggan's gone all in with his bottom pair, but I don't think Harley can call. He's got middle pair and a weak kicker, and that's got to be playing on his mind. The only hand he's beating is a 2 or a bluff. And for me, he's made the right decision. I don't think he can call in that situation. That's a good bet by Big Show. When I say a good bet, it's a bet that worked, and that's all you need for a good bet to be a good bet. It's when they don't work, they're not so good. But that was a good bet. He, for whatever reason, read it that he could get away with that hand and that play, and it worked nice. So Chris is decided to limp in with his Queen Jack, and Harley just wants to take a breather, doesn't want to play his Ace-3 suited, which is a shame because he would have hit top pair. And a bit of surprise that he didn't actually limp in with Ace-3 suited on the button. You can't let the previous hand dictate what you do next. So far, so good for all these players still in. Still early stages yet, still a long way to go. Be interesting to see who makes it and who doesn't. So far, Chris is looking pretty good. He's got 12,000. Everyone else is sort of hovering around the 6,000 mark, so he's the only one that is any kind of strong position. The others are sort of hovering around the 15 times a big blind mark or less.
Finally, I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
So King 6 decided to go all in, and he needs to accumulate those chips. He can do with another 600 on top of his stack, and he decided to take a chance, and it worked out okay. So, you're back.
I am.
You're with us.
It was quite painful, that. No
Was it?
offence to anyone who I was playing with. It was just, I don't know, you were just a right stubborn bunch.
They were, huh?
Yeah, you know, and you just seem to be playing for ages and no one's going anywhere. And then it gets to the point where the blinds then get so high, it's just carnage at the end.
Yeah.
It was really like that. I think it'll be
interesting to see.
To watch back.
Yeah.
But at the end, it was literally just the blinds got so high. Everyone was still in. It was just random.
Yeah. So whoever got luckiest, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it sort of takes a little bit.
We shall see. Was it good play or was it lucky play?
I hope so. I think I did a couple of things which I know myself I shouldn't have done. But
okay.
We'll see what you think. Shall I get some emails for you?
Yeah,
anyway,
why not? Let's go for some emails.
Harry has sent one in, and Harry said, I've been playing no limit poker for a couple of months now and try to play tight. I have found I can gradually build up a stack in the cash games, only to lose a large chunk of it through either a poor decision or bad luck, which is very frustrating. Therefore, I gave a 50-cent $1 limit cash game a try and found it's very easy to get paid off if you make a hand. I managed to double up, as if I didn't hit the flop, I'd fold. My question is, what cards should I play? I was seeing the flop with all high connectors and the usual premium cards and found position mattered a lot less. Any advice on limit play would be welcome.
Yeah, I mean, if you are playing strong hands, and obviously it means that you can get away slightly more so out of position because your hands will be that much stronger than everyone else. So you won't be playing that often. So I can understand that, although position is a key important thing. Maybe not for a beginner who's playing with other beginners, but it certainly is important to understand the fundamentals of why you should always play sort of these hands, why they're a lot stronger. You see, there's a simple equation basically. When you're playing starting hands, there are two considerations. There are obviously lots of considerations, but there are two considerations that you initially start with, i.e. the starting hand itself and the position that you're in relation to the other players, of course. So and you take those two things and they literally are a sum. You have to add them together. So you can say that the button is obviously the best position to be in. So you might want to give that 10 points. You might want to give the cutoff 8 points and so on and so forth. And whatever your starting hands are, you might want to do the same. And you add the two together and obviously the combined total is what your starting hand is worth. So that's really the thing you want to start looking at. You want to start perhaps playing position a little bit more, and perhaps, guess what? When you're playing position a little bit more, it does mean you can reduce your starting hand slightly. So it means that if you want to play hands like 8, 9 or 9, 10 suited, maybe you want to do that in late position. So there's a bit of advice for you. You can reduce it, but make sure you play them in position. It's no good playing them in first or second or third position.
But good luck with that, Harry, and thank you for your email. Finn has sent an email as well, and Finn says, I've had a degree of success in single table tourneys and multi-table tourneys, but I seem to be losing all my winnings in no-limit cash games. I have a limited bankroll, so do you suggest that I persevere with cash games to get better at them, or stick to the tournaments?
Well, this is a fun, interesting question, because there's loads of answers I can give you. There's the answer that the one end and there's the other end. I mean, the first answer I'll give you is that, if you want to improve your game, then it is important to play cash games. You can't just focus on playing tournaments, I don't think. You can initially, in order to get the basics of the game, but if you really want to improve, then you do have to start playing some cash games as well. But at the same token, you want to play games that you enjoy. This is all about enjoyment. So if you don't enjoy it, and if you're taking a bit of a beating on the cash games, then you want to play differently. The thing that I'll answer, and I don't know if I'm going to have time before the break, we've got a few emails to go through, but perhaps after the break what I'll do is I'll come back to the question re-cash games, because you've got to understand there is a difference between cash games and tournaments, and it's understanding those differences and why you need to play different ways from cash games and need to play different ways from tournaments. So once you can understand the differences there, then that's going to be pretty important. So perhaps we'll talk about that after the break.
Yeah, we can go into that in a bit more depth when we come back, can't we? Drummers has sent an email as well. Hi guys and girls, just a quick hello, as I haven't emailed lately. I'm playing a nice tight game and doing pretty well under the tuition of Ramchip, a top man. Only a few more tourneys to win before I can order that Mercedes. Well, good luck to you. And Drummer says, is the answer Chris Jesus Ferguson?
Have to wait and see. Can't give that answer away, I'm afraid.
Of course, after midnight, the 6th of the 606. The question we've been asking tonight is a little trivia question for you. Which famous poker player shares their birthday with the devilfish?
No. Not with the devilfish.
With the devil.
With the
Sorry.
devil.
We've had so many answers with people saying it's the devilfish. That would be too obvious. It's with the devil.
Yeah, and obviously it's not Chris Ferguson. His name is Jesus.
No, and also we've had so many
We might as well
people,
give that one away.
It's not Joe Hatcham as well. We've had that, and not the devilfish. That's too obvious. But keep them coming through. If you think you know the answer, you've got a few more minutes to get them in. We're going to give you the answer after the break. 84222 is the text number. Put the word poker at the start of your message. Stick around. In a few minutes, we'll give you the answer, and we'll watch the Beat the Presenter game back as well. See you then. Hello, welcome back to Poker Night Live. I'm Lyndsay, joined by Mark, Prince Charles Banin.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's midnight now.
It is.
It is, it's midnight. Yeah, just after we've got the Beat
The witching hour
tournament coming up. And of course, we've had our trivia question all night because, of course, it's the 6th of the 6th, 06, and we wanted to know which poker player shares his birthday with the devil. Now, we've had lots of suggestions coming in, haven't we, Mark?
We have.
Lots of people, most of you, I have to say, thought it was the devilfish.
Yeah.
But that's just a bit too obvious. We've had.
Did anyone get it right? This is quite a hard one to find out, isn't it?
One person got it right. Only one. We had Joe Hatchson, that was wrong. Jesus Ferguson, that was wrong. The only person, I have to say, who got it right is Frank. Well done, Frank.
Very good, Frank.
Frank sent an email and Frank said he is known as Mark the Beast Banin for that very reason. So happy birthday, Mark.
Thank you.
It's Mark
Thank
Banin. Woo! Hey! Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you,
And you share your birthday with Damien.
I do, yeah. Well, I'm the original. Damien came after. Yeah, so it's a thing you really want to watch out for.
Yeah, I'm scared now. Shall I move over there?
Yeah.
I'm loving spooky sound effects as well. Thank you. So happy birthday,
Yeah, thanks
Mark.
a lot, Lynn.
Hope you have a lovely day tomorrow.
I will. Yeah, this is now. It is now the 6th of the 6th.
It
so
is.
I shall be celebrating for the rest of the next 24 hours.
Yes, yes. And you're going to be going up in a helicopter, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be taking a little ride in a helicopter, so that should be a lot of fun. So I'm going to be piloting it myself. So yeah, should be good fun.
I think that would be brilliant. So well done, and thanks to everyone who took part. Well done, Frank, for getting it right, and well done everyone else for having a guess. Right, well, we've got lots coming up. We're here till 2 o'clock. So we're going to head to the Beat the Presenter tournament. Okay. So let's have a look how I got on. There you go, party poppers as well.
Now, we've got the Beat the Presenter tourney, and we see Lyndsay there in the bottom. Now, I'll say, Lyndsay, this is a very thoughtful card that you've given me here, because when I first looked at it, I thought it must be, you know, those, you can now do those cards. Have you seen those ones that you do on your own computer? You can sort of like do a picture of something.
Yes,
and I thought that James, Tom and Nick had got together and did one of themselves and said, wish me a happy birthday from it. And perhaps we'll show it to the viewers afterwards, after this Beat the Presenter tournament, because it's really good. It actually does look...
it does resemble them, actually. I didn't think of that when I bought it, but you're very right.
Yeah. So, we should have a look at that. So, let's have a look what we've got going here. We've got a straight for Alfie, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and not a lot for Monkey Boy.
So blinds still 10-20, just starting, 1,000 chips to everyone. One of the quicker tournaments that we show and Beat the Presenter. We do the longer ones sometimes as well, where everyone starts with 1,500 chips. They tend to go on a bit longer, but this one is going to be, well, they're normally quite quick and quite ruthless, but this one is quite interesting the way it plays out, I have to say.
So, not a lot happening so far. We had a little straight there from Alfie. In fact, I don't know if I missed that, but how is it Monk? Sorry, it wasn't Alfie that had the straight, was it? It was. Oh, it was. Yes, it was Alfie that had the straight. Sorry, I'm getting a bit confused. I thought for a minute Monkey Boy had the straight, but it wasn't. He had just the 10-5. So, a pair of queens there for double top. He's looking pretty healthy. QP has very little. He's wondering if he's got some kind of straight draw. He hasn't. Got a backdoor straight draw. Inside version, not very good. Decides to fold. QP, an interesting type player, plays very aggressively generally speaking. It'll be good to see how he plays out.
Yes, we have some interesting confrontations, me and QP.
Yeah, he likes pulling it about, doesn't he? That's for sure. Yeah, plays an interesting game.
But always a gentleman in the chat box.
Yeah, I think that goes for a lot of our guys out there. They're all a lot of fun. And,
yes, yeah.
I met up with them a week or so ago, and it was a lot of fun. you know, all seem to be a good, nice bunch of people. So it's nice to have that sort of poker community which we've got here at Poker Night Live. And that's all due to our fantastic viewers.
Yes, it keeps you company actually, especially if you're going through a patch where you're not getting decent cards and you're folding a lot, and you know the guys are always good fun in the chat box.
Yeah, they are good. So we've got interesting semblance of hands here. We've got Alfie with the King Queen suited. What will he decide to do if his King Queen suited? He can do any of the three really. He can fold, he can check, he can limp in, or he can raise. I don't mind either. I probably just want to do what he's done, in fact, only because it's the early stages of a tournament. I don't want to go too mad. I might minimum raise just to get some of the straddlers out, but that's about it. Just to thin the field by that little bit more.
Double top.
Oh, look at that. It's trouble. You see, this is the only problem by... he's now caught trip twos, and he's in all sorts of trouble because he's hit top pair at the same time. Now, we say... King Queen rules in the land of the unraised pot. Well, there you go. It doesn't rule in this pot. He's getting suckered in. And
yes, Eat
My Ace is trying to say, go on, have another little go at it. And Alfie will probably want to do it. He want to protect his hand. And he does. Now, Eat My Ace might want to sort of ramp it up a bit here now. He does, yeah. And I like the play. I must admit, I do like the play.
It's hard for Alfie because the board doesn't look scary.
No, that's right. So Emias is playing this very nicely. He'll probably want to put in a 350, something like that, 340, 350, 360. He's put in 200. Well, I'm sure that will get paid. He can't fold this hand. I can't see how he can possibly fold. No, it was a good play by Eat My Ace. He played it, I must say, to perfection. He's done everything right, in my opinion. He just didn't put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
So nice, very nicely played.
Maybe if Alfie had have raised pre-flop, Eat My Ace wouldn't have played with the twos. What do you think? He still
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because he was in a small blind. Alfie would have had to make a big raise. You see, the problem with King Queen suited is that you're only generally going to hit top pair, you know, or two pair. You're not going to make a flush very often. You're not going to make a straight very often. I mean, the chance of making a straight is in excess of 300 to 1. Chance of flopping a straight, that is. Chance of making a flush is 118 to 1. So generally, the best hand you can hope for is something like a queen high flop or a king high flop.
Right. Which he got.
Which he got, and the problem is it's got very little to improve. It's not going to improve that much. So it means that you're generally going to be fighting with a king high flop. This is why I said at the beginning that, you know, he could do anything with this hand. He could throw it away, and it's not a bad decision to throw it away.
Okay.
I'd much rather play a hand like 6-7 than I would king queen, for the simple reason that I'm not going to get caught up in the hand with a flop like this. You know, there's no too many flops that are going to catch me up, and I do a lot of chips.
Because if you play a 6-7, if you don't hit, then you can get away from it. Whereas with a king queen, if you do get that, if you do hit top pair,
which is what you expect,
you're still very likely to be behind.
Yeah, you're likely to. There's a chance you're behind. Yeah, and the problem is that you can do a lot of chips because you know it's not going to improve. You've played king queen in order to hit a queen or a king, and it's done it.
Yeah.
And now you've got to put some weight behind it. So you didn't do anything wrong, Alfie. You just got a bit unfortunate the way the cards fell, and that's poker for you. Having said that, I thought Eat My Ace played it very nicely as well.
Yes, he did.
So he did extract probably the most. So QP hasn't had much of a hand yet. Eat My Ace. I don't like this play though, with the Ace-9. Calling out of position with Ace-9. I mean, it's worked out for him okay because no one's got anything, but I really just don't like it for the simple reason that it's not going to often win.
He could be walking into anything.
He could be walking into anything. He's got 4 players still behind him left to act. Sorry, he's got 6 players left behind him left to act. 4 of those of which are in a better position than him. And now you see, this is the traversity of playing a hand like Ace-9 in early position.
Yeah.
Double top, just puts a bet out, thinking that's the sort of rubbish I could have in a big blind. You know, so I might as well bet it. I'm not going to win it by any other way.
Yes.
But 7-6-5 or 7-6-4, whatever it was. You know, that's kind of rubbishy cards that a big blind holding is likely to hold. So 7-4 and 6-4, you know, this kind of thing. So, yeah, I thought the Ace-9 was not a good play. regardless of what happens, it's just not generally a good play. So Queen 3 here for Miss Lyndsay. Oh, Nods won't like that. He's just fortunate that it was not the 4 that came, Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only in the pot because I was on the big blind and it was free. So,
yeah.
Well, it wasn't free, but I'd already put the big blind in anyway. I wish I hadn't have hit the 3 because I wasn't quite sure what he had, so I thought I'd put in something and see.
Yeah. Well, this is a very dangerous play for Nods, and I don't like it. I'll tell you why. You could easily, instead of a 3, have a 4.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you have that hand, you're going to now re-raise, and what does he do? He has to call with his set of kings.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't like the raise there. I like, he really should have just flat called, and that's it.
QP's getting bored now.
But you called with that hand, I see, the Queen 3. You called a raise, did you? At the end?
No, I folded it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So QP getting excited with his 10-2. He's got his answer. Nods is saying, I've got better. The problem is now he's actually got probably odds to call, is he? Let's have a look. He's got 120. Yeah, he has. But whilst you're getting odds to call, QP, it's not a cash game, and you can't afford to leak out chips on that kind of board. You've got an answer. You've put a decent bet. You've got an answer from someone. You've had a caller from someone. It's time to get out. Well, you've called with your ace king and you've hit it. And Nods can see that you haven't got much foldability in your hand, so you're betting a third of your hand into that situation. The only thing I would say there, Lyndsay, is that I might have been tempted to check.
Right.
For the simple reason that Nods had the lead in the betting.
Yes.
He bet first, which means that he's likely to put a continuation bet.
Yeah.
To try and get rid of you.
So I could have got more.
So possibly, he might not have done, he might have just checked. But the fact that he'll probably do it for a couple of reasons. One, to do a continuation bet.
Yeah.
And 2, he'll probably feel, oh, I'll try and pull one over on Lyndsay.
Yes.
That'll be his mentality.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. And what will happen is that he'll bet and you'll go all in and he'll have to call for the extra.
Yeah. So
and now you've got an extra 400 odd out of him.
Yeah.
Because that's all you had left, I think, about 400, 380.
Unless he hit another 10.
Yeah, that's possible. But
yeah,
then he would have. But that's poker. But I think that would have been the right play.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe he puts your chips in on the turn. By all means, if he hasn't done it, then on the turn just push it all in, whatever. But
just try and extract that little bit more. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
And if he hits a 10, and there's just bad luck, just you have to accept that. It's a risk. Poker is a game of risk reward, and your reward could have been a little bit greater there. Giving the chance of the other player to bluff.
Now, a little raise by Nods with his ace-5.
So RNC with a very nice hand. Got kings. Nods has got a nice hand too, but not as nice as that. And he gives it up. And that's the once again the problem of playing ace-5 out of position like that. So DT doesn't want to play his jack-3.
Double top folds his ace-5.
Oh, eat my ace. Interesting. That was a hand he won chips with.
Yeah.
It just shows you he didn't call the small raise with 2s. So yes, had he have raised with king queen, it would have got rid of him.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? So he didn't want to call there with his 2s, but and I guess with the same hand he wouldn't have called before. So that's an interesting situation.
And certainly answers the question for us, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but in all fairness to Alfie, you know, he could have done any of those three things, and none of them are technically that wrong.
Yeah.
Folding isn't wrong, calling isn't wrong, raising isn't, I don't believe, wrong either. In that situation, you just want to get rid of. That's why I said a minimum raise or a small raise, just to get rid of the straddlers or people that don't want to play pairs, you know, pocket twos, for example. So Ace Queen for Monkey Boy puts a little bet in, and Nonce doesn't want to know. So now QP won't be folding this. We know that. Now what's he going to do though? Oh, just like a simple bet, 120. Oh, he's gone all in. Well, I don't like the play by QP. I don't know why he's made that play. He's only going to get called by... I know he wants to win the 60, but he's only going to get called by someone that is beating him. It's very unlikely. I mean, he might get called by a pair of tens as well, but... which is, you know, 50-50. But, oh, look, he's now picked up 7-8. Wow. Look at that.
Much discussion in the chat box, Mark, about your 7-8s.
Was there?
Yes, and there's actually a couple of interesting hands involving 7-8s.
Oh, this could be one of them.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, this will be interesting. Let's see how he plays it. Now, Lyndsay's got the 8-9. Now, this is a good hand for 7-8. Not because it's got 7-8, it's because he's positioned. He's going to get checked round to him, unless Eat My Ace wants to put a bluff. He doesn't. And QP can say, OK, you don't want it. That looks like a hand I can bluff with. And that's a nice thing about playing a hand like that. In that situation. I mean, it's worked out okay for him that he's... I mean, I personally won't play it that early.
Yeah.
But it's worked out for him, and I'm sure he's only playing it because I'm the one commentating. And he knows I like the way he plays. So,
yes, they were talking about 7-8 a lot.
Yeah, so nice hand there from QP.
Yeah, it does come up a couple of times, actually.
Okay. That's interesting, yeah. So he played it with skill there. He read the board. It's a scary-looking board, and he's thinking, well, if that's scary for me, then it's damn sure scary for them. Plus, I've got position. I might as well have a little go at it. So that gained him a few chips there. So Lyndsay playing with a King 7, Lynn.
I just fancied a cheap
40.
look to see if I could hit a couple of kings.
Yeah, that's okay. So you're okay. There's only one guy who hasn't shown any strength. But he's showing strength now. He's playing it strongly, and he won't get rid of Eat My Ace because he's got the nuts at the moment. 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen. Of course, the straight. He's flipped it. I'm surprising at Eat My Ace. He played his 2 so well before, and now he's got an even stronger hand, and he's actually raising with it.
It should have just been a check there.
Yeah, I think so. Sure, the guy could be on a flush draw, but you've got to take a chance sometimes. You know, you can't always assume that everyone's got, you know, the best draw out there.
Yeah. Now he's picked up Ace Jack up against QP's Ace 10. He folds his Ace 10. All the jacks. Neither of them know it, but they're not going to hit their trips.
No, they're not going to hit their set. That's for sure. Just interesting to see if either of them actually wins it outright. No, he's not going to fold. No. So this is going to be a split pot. None of them can win this. Now that he's got a rainbow flop out there, means it's impossible to win with a flush. And that's the only way a pocket pair against the same pocket pair can actually win, is if one of them hits a flush with one of their remaining cards. But of course for that, the board has to be, has to have 2 of the same suit on there to give the possibility, at least. So King Queen, he's decided to come out betting with the double top. And I quite like the bet. As I said a moment ago, I like the minimum raise in this situation. If you are going to play it, then just get rid of some of the straddlers. It gives you bluffing rights on the flop as well if you miss, if the guy's checked. And yeah, I don't mind it. So he's got rid of like a weak ace and stuff like that. So it's a good play. You know, this is why I prefer playing it that way, because all too often, you know, I don't think it plays particularly well multi-handed. Oh look, he's got 7-8 again. I don't think it plays well multi-handed, a hand like King Queen, because it's ever going to hit top pair. And do you really want to play one pair against 3 or 4 people?
No.
You know, just like aces or kings. You
Yes.
know, you won't want to play it 3 or 4 way.
You want it three at the most.
3 at the most, yeah. You know, that's including you as one of them.
Yes.
So, it's not a particularly good drawing hand, King Queen. Well, this is interesting. Well, he's hit top pair. It's looking pretty strong again. And I think double top would probably make this play here with without 7-8, even if he didn't have top pair. But he's hit it. It's worked out nicely. And he's probably going to put in a decent sized bet here, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much okay. I think I would have liked it around the 200 mark, but 160 was okay. Monkey Boy might feel that he's got 2 overcards and wants to play along. No, he doesn't. So that's another 7-8 win.
Another 7-8 win?
Have we seen 7-8 lose tonight?
No.
I don't think we have. It's won more time than aces.
Yes.
Having said
It's
that,
for
has been
you,
some...
it's all for you, because it is your birthday.
Oh, that's why they're playing it. Okay.
It's your birthday. Lovely. Yeah, we haven't seen it lose, not yet.
So Nods contemplates the call with Jack 7. Can't really call here, unfortunately, Nods. You haven't got the chips to back it up. If you had maybe over 12, 13, 1400 chips, maybe, even then it's questionable, but not when it's more than 10% of your stack. And that's the key thing. You can't just leak out chips by making calls with Jack 7. So Eat My Ace has got Jack 6 suited, just a simple throwaway. QP, you will like this hand. What will he do with it though? Because it's his early position and he throws it, and I don't blame him. It is a nice hand, but he's just a spot too early, yeah. Even if he was in Alfie's position, that would make it a little bit easier to play, and he probably would have played it there, but, you know, he's just got too many players behind him. He's got 5 players behind him, and let's just hope a 7 of spades doesn't appear, because that'll make him feel very bad. Because he had, of course, 8, 9 of spades. 7 of spades would give him a flush draw plus the straight. Queen 10 can't call. Double top, I'm sure, just throw this away, yeah. We gave RNC bluffing rights. Of course, he was bluffing with the best hand, but RNC didn't know that for sure.
I'm being dealt some rubbish, I have to say.
Yeah, I haven't been able to really call out your name yet in terms of what your holding has been. Now, interesting, because once again, Alfie can play this 2 ways. He can either just flat call, or he can come in with a raise, or he can go all in, of course. Difficult. I would... Blinds are 4. He's elected to fold. I'm not sure that was a good option. I'm not sure I'd like to do that as an option.
Look, a little double top, little blind stealer.
Yeah, he's a thief, isn't he? But he's bluffing with the best hand.
Yeah, he is.
But I'm sure he doesn't realise that. So he's a little thief there. But yeah, that was a difficult one for Alfie, because he was in fairly early position, but I'm not sure if I'd like to fold. I think you've got to play a hand like that. The blinds are creeping up. He could do with an extra 120 on top of his stack. Yes. But it is a little bit early, so it is a very marginal decision. Folding isn't, I don't think, sort of in the top bracket, but it's probably not that far behind. Yeah. I would say if the other 2 choices share 75%, then that probably shares around 25%, or has about 25% of equity to make that play. So Ace Queen for Nods. He's got. No, I think he's got to shove it in here. He can't. I mean, he's lucky that no one's got anything, but
he's getting quite short stacked now.
He is. Yeah. I mean, have QP had he had a hand like I don't know, Jack 10 or Jack 9, maybe even Queen Jack, he might call. Yeah. And the problem is that the likelihood is not so much that he's outdrawn him, but the likelihood is that he's now playing a hand where he's 2 to 1 to miss. Yeah. He's going to miss more times than he's going to hit. Of course, the same goes for QP, but you know, it is dangerous to play it by just minimum raising with Ace Queen.
He wanted to make sure that he was just going to take the blinds.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the play that he made is slightly better with Ace King. Right. It's slightly more acceptable with Ace King because it's slightly less vulnerable. Yeah. But I'm not really in favour of doing it with, you know.
So he's got 7-8 again.
the early position and he folds it, and that's fine. I don't mind doing that. You know, I like the hand, but you know, I did say earlier in the show to one of the emails that responded that you've got to play these hands correctly, and you can't keep playing hands out of position.
You can't just play it every time, no matter where you are, whoever you're up against. It's
yeah. I mean, we can see that he would have got away with it in this case because QP wouldn't have gone in with the Queen 6 had he have made some kind of bet. But you know, you can't just keep playing them willy-nilly from any position. So Ace King for nods. Now he really has to go all in here. There's no other option.
I wish he had have done.
Or has he taken a few of your chips here, has he?
Yeah. If he'd gone all in, I would have folded my Ace-10.
Ah. Well.
I probably should have anyway.
Yeah, you should have, definitely, yeah. And the reason being is because he's made a minimum raise in early position. What is your Ace-10 beating? Pair of 8s? It's not even beating that. It's not beating an awful lot, so... Yeah. And his minimum raise, he's left himself 480. So why would someone do that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it stinks of a big hand when someone does that.
Yeah.
He's not doing it with a weak bluff.
Yeah,
you know, he wants someone to call, is basically what he's saying.
I walked right into it.
Yeah.
A 7 might save me.
Yeah, well, you're drawing to a 7 out or a 10. Or you mean you think it's an ace as well, but it's 7, 10 or ace. Now, is he likely to fold if you go over the top? No. Yeah, he's calling. There's only 2 options for you there, and that was to re-raise all in, or basically re-raise all in or fold, and you took the fold option, which is fine. Now, why have you minimum raised? Yeah, this is.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is really something that you really wanted to either. I don't know.
Should have just pushed it.
If you're going to do it, or fold, yeah, because you're in very early position. Well, but you might. Nope, you've hit the 10, although he's got a flush draw, and he misses his flush draw. So, well, you've played it in a way that was unorthodox, but it's worked out for you.
It worked out in the end, but I should have just pushed in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to play it, then that's the way you should have played, or just don't play it. But QP tried to take you off the hand. It's
hard when you're at that point because even though you're short stacked and you know that you've got to push in, you still don't want to. You're still sort of trying to hold some chips back because you don't want to be first out, and I think that's part of it, that you're trying to.
Well, the question you've got to ask yourself is this: is that it's a very simple question to ask. All you need to do is just ask yourself, if someone re-raises all in, will I call? And if the answer is yes, then you might as well do it first.
Yeah.
Why let them?
Because you're going to do it anyway.
If you're going to do it anyway, you might as well do it first. Yeah, because what they're hoping for is that you fold, and then they could get lucky on you.
Yes.
But by you doing it first, then he's saying, look, you can call me if you like. You can't re-raise me, but you can call me.
Yeah.
And plus, for the more money you put in there, the harder it is to call, the more hands that you throw out of the bag.
Yeah.
Because they now can't call you with things like ace-7, ace-8, ace-9, yeah, maybe even ace-10. So, whereas making a small raise, they might decide, they think, okay, with ace-10 I can re-raise her.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll fold if I re-raise her. Plus, I might have the best hand anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're just calling with ace-10, they're thinking, nah, there's no point. I'm, probably losing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Or I could be 50-50 at best. So if you're going to, so that's a question to ask. If you're going to make a move like that, if someone re-raises me all in,
would I call? If I would, then I should just do it anyway. Yeah.
Of course, that is
logical.
Yeah. The only difference to that is, of course, if you've got a huge hand and you want someone to call, then that's different.
Yes. Yeah.
So Queen 9 for Lynn.
Not hit anything. I'm in check fold mode now.
No, you got one of your cards that you wanted for a straight. You need the two middle cards, the Jack and the 10, to help. Got the Jack, but you need a whole lot more help than that.
Still not lost one player. It seems to have...
Goes forever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are playing fairly tight. Although we have seen some interesting plays from QP and double top. have made a couple of moves, haven't they?
I'm not QP's friend after this hand. There's the 7-8 again.
Yeah, the 7-8 by Monkey Boy. Well, King 7, always hit 2 pair. So this is looking no chance for Monkey Boy now. He needs to hit 2 miracles, and that's it. It's finished. 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite a straight. So Monkey Boy is our
first one out.
Yeah, our 8th place finisher with 7-8, unfortunately. But that was, you see, Monkey Boy doesn't listen. It's 7-8 offsuit.
Yes.
Not 7-8 suited.
Could I have got away from that with my King Jack? Should I have?
Well, I think you should have. You flat called, didn't you? I don't think you should be flat calling. I think you should be probably raising if you're going to play it. Get everyone else out. Because you're on the button as well. So you've only got the small blind and big blind. QP didn't have many chips. So even if he flat calls, it doesn't mean that much anyway.
Yeah.
If he goes all in. So really the only person you're worried about is Alfie. But he hasn't got many chips either by the looks of it. So, no, yeah, I think you should have raised, definitely, in that situation. Sorry, it was Eat My Ace, wasn't it? And QP, rather, who you were worried about. So Eat My Ace was the only one you had to worry about. Because you were on the button, Eat My Ace was small blind, wasn't he? So and once he would have folded, then that's it. Because he's the only one that can hurt you in chip-wise.
But Monkey Boy had raised, so I was calling his raise. So should I have re-raised it?
Yeah, you needed to re-raise, I think. Yeah, because you don't want to play it more than one hand. And plus you're picking up some dead money in the pot from the blinds.
Yeah.
Because now they put money into a pot they're not getting involved with.
Yeah.
That would have been the better play out of the two, I think. And as I said, the only person you had to worry about there was Eat My Ace, because QP didn't have many chips anyway.
Yeah.
So even if he flat calls, you know, you wouldn't lose very much out of him. As you didn't, you know, you would have had the same situation. But unfortunate, the way it worked out. He doesn't have to hit 2 pair. It's a 49 to 1 shot to hit 2 pair. So he's, you know, you're unlucky. 67, 68 times out of 100, you'll win that hand.
Yeah.
So QP has now excelled himself. He was on the drip feed a moment ago, and now he's captain.
He is. Chip leader.
Captain QP. And that's one man you don't want to give chips on that table. He'll put you to the test. And there you are, double top's done what I was suggesting, basically, with the King Jack, but this time he's done it with King 8. He's got 2 overcards, so he's got a 50-50. Who's going to win it? He needs to hit an 8 or a King. He would have liked to seen a few bigger cards there. That way, if the board paired, it would help him out a little bit more. But he doesn't, so double top is now on the drip feed. In intensive care.
I'm not far behind him, no.
No, those blinds have eaten away, haven't you? But this is probably the hand you're going to have to go with, I think. Let's see. Yeah, double top. He doesn't want to make a move. He knows there's no fold equity with Eat My Ace. He has to call. You've made the move, and that's fine. Eat My Ace has to call, I think.
Yeah,
although, what was it, another 400 odd? Yeah, difficult for him too.
He's got one of my 4s. So
yeah, there's only one card you're worried about.
I don't want an ace.
Or a 7 or a 6. Yeah, 7 or 6 was no good to you either.
No.
Makes a bigger 2 pair for Eat My Ace. So that was not good. So, but you got away with it, and you're going up and down like a yo-yo at the moment.
I know.
This is not the Lyndsay we all know and love.
Do you know what? It was just, I didn't like the tournament. No, I did. Don't get me wrong.
You're playing very loose, shall we say? Unlike you.
They were commenting about how tight I was playing.
Well, no, you played tight because your hands at your hand
because
were real bad.
I've not had anything, yeah.
But the hands you did play were even loose.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it was to do with, I think.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, in poker, you go for a period where a barren spell where you just don't hit any hands.
Yeah.
And you think, and then you have something like ace-8 suited, and you think, well, this is a monster.
Yeah,
well, of course, it's nothing, it's rubbish. But that's what happens a lot in poker. You do get, you know, you haven't hit a hand for half an hour, and you're sitting there, you think, what do I have to do to hit a hand? And then you get a hand, and you think, oh, this is a big hand.
And you get carried away with it.
You do, yeah, and that's perhaps what happened with the Queen 10, I don't know. It's very un-Lyndsay-like. Well, QP has said, I've got the best hand. Do you want to go out on your hand? And Alfie said, no thanks. I'll stick around for a while longer. And sensible play from Alfie. Can't call with a King 4 suited. If it was up around the King 8, King 9 realms, then perhaps. But King 4, he's only got one card that he's aiming for, and that's the King. The 4 is pretty useless. But at least with the 8, you know, if he's got a chance of hitting, it's likely to make and stay the best hand, potentially. Whereas a 4, if you hit the 4, doesn't mean a darn thing.
So, still only one down.
Yeah, only one down. Blinds are 163.20. We're going to see some carnage soon because Alfie and Double Top are in serious trouble, as is RNC, who's now had to put in a small blind following a big blind. So this is a case where you just need to plan ahead. You have to look 4 or 5 hands ahead, see when you need to make a move, and just make it. You need to accumulate those blinds now.
Look at that.
Well, set of 5s, he's hit it on the end, running 5s, gosh.
Yeah.
Of course, an ace would have done him 2, or a 2 on the end. Would have given him a straight. No, King 7 doesn't want to know.
No, it's not cheap enough now to have a little look with King 7.
No, you can't look. It's either an all-in or nothing.
It's all right when it costs 40, but no. Take a chance and see if you can hit a monster on the flop when it's 40, but not when it's 320.
Well, this is interesting. RNC has decided to call with ace-8, and I'm not sure I like it for the simple reason that he's only calling with it. He's only given himself one way to win. Well, he split this pot. He's got away with it. This is going to be a split pot between RNC and Eat My Ace, who have both hit the straight. 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. That is the hand that plays, which means a straight for both, and they both do it. Well done. So, Queen 6. No good there. Queen 10, not all like this. What's he going to do with it, though? He needs those blinds. I was going to say, that's probably the only move he can make. Difficult one for you to call, but you have. That's probably the right move, I think. Dangerous. But you know that he has to make a move here. And, and you've hit a card. That doesn't make any difference, so he can still need a queen or a 10. It doesn't hit it, so brave call there.
I had to, I think.
I think you had to, yeah. I think you had to. The guy, good chance he's making a move. The only problem is that you're not beating a lot with ace-8. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. It is difficult, but I think the blinds are so high that you need to take an opportunity and
it's not so bad heads up if you know you're going to have it heads up.
So still brave call, and you did it. Well done. So house for QP. He's not going to lose this one. Ace Jack, no running cards. We're going to help him there. Oh, look at that! And he goes from strength to strength. He's now really going to be table captain. And Eat My Ace might go for it here. He is. And, well, that's about wrap that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no cards there. Jack will do it for Eat My Ace, but it doesn't appear.
Wiped out 2 in one fell swoop.
I know. Well, that's good for you and RNC.
Yes.
So,
this is my biggest regret of this tournament, this hand. Watch what happens here. My biggest regret.
Well, I don't think you can call here.
But wait till you see what comes out.
Yeah, but you can't call because QP. You can't call with King 8. No way.
Yeah, but then when I saw them, I just.
It doesn't matter. No, you made the right move.
It was the right decision.
Absolutely, yeah. The problem was that QP went all in, and do you want to call for all your chips in King 8 when RNC might be knocked out?
Yeah, he was in the pot as well. Exactly. Yeah.
So no, you can't call.
It's always hindsight's a wonderful thing, and when you see 2 kings come down, it's always easy to say, "Oh, I should have got involved," but it could very well have easily been curtains for me, couldn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is where you want to make your move. Ace-3. No calling. Ooh. do you get out of this one? Let's have a look. No, you should have moved all in there. You've got ace, heads up. It's going to be generally the strongest hand. What made you call in that one, in that situation?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's just taking away from you now, you see. Problem is, you're going to miss most of the time. It's not a very good drawing hand. Doesn't hit very much. This is, you're going to...
I should. That's the problem is, I should have done it the hand before. Now I've done it this time. I've walked into a pair of aces.
Yeah. Well, you see, it's 5. If he hits another 5, oh, you're going to get away with a 3 here. No. So, looks like you're in 3rd.
I came 2nd, so I don't know how.
Did you have more chips than RNC? You must have done. Oh, I know. I think you split 2nd on this site. Yeah, you do. You both split 2nd prize. So
is that why?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Because I was a bit confused at the time why I came 2nd.
No, it's joint 2nd in effect.
Right,
yeah.
right.
You just split the prizes. So there you are. Interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't
just one
very
mistake
good
there, I
tonight.
think. Really.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, I mean there was a couple of little things that you could have done differently. I think, but I think the ace 4, the hand before.
The hand before should have gone in. And
should have just pushed in. Yeah, he can't call you, and now you pick up some nice blinds, which I'm not sure what they were. 326.40 or 163.20. I think it was 326.40.
326.40.
So that's another 1,000 onto your stack.
Yeah.
And if he happens to have a big hand, then that's just bad luck.
Yeah.
But that was really. You've done it. Unfortunately, you've done it at the wrong time. You've done it at the
following
hand.
And then walked into a pair of aces. Well, the aces didn't hold up actually, but
yeah,
it was.
Yeah, a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, never mind.
Never mind.
Okay. Do we have any emails?
We do. I've got an email. This is off Omen666 Mark B.
Who's it from?
Oh, sorry, it's from Tirade, and Tirade says, "Hi Lyndsay, happy birthday, Omen666 Mark Banin. Great show. Always love how Mark comments in depth on each hand and position and how he would play if he was playing. It helps disguise a lot."
Oh, good.
There you go. I have 2 questions. The first one, last night's show it was mentioned that Mike Sexton recently said in a poker magazine about changing the way poker is played. He said he would prefer no limit hold'em to be pot limit pre-flop and no limit after that. I just want Mark's thoughts on this, as he has played major no limit tournaments.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Play post pre-flop pot limit. I think it'd make a good game, that's for sure. I'm not sure if that's totally the way it should be done. I think if you are going to make an adjustment to the game like that, I think another good way of doing it is just taking it one step further. In limit, you're not familiar with limit, but in limit, the way they do it is they have a small bet and a big bet.
Right.
A small bet you can do pre-flop and after the flop. A big bet is on the turn and on the river.
Okay.
So I think something like that perhaps in pot limit or in this version could be pot limit post pre-flop, pot limit post-flop, but no limit on a turn, no limit on the river. So maybe something like that. That would be a very interesting game, I think. And that would create a lot of skill. And
quite complicated, though.
A little bit complicated, but I think it would make a good game. I think it would make a good game. So, yeah, very interesting suggestion that... I think you might want to patent that one. That might be the new Texas Hold'em of the future, perhaps.
Something we might see very soon. You never know.
I think so. Yeah, I think it could be a really good game. That one. The more I think about it.
Yeah. And the second part of the email is recently in a tournament, midway through, the blinds are 400, 800. I'm on the big blind. It's folded down to the small blind, who goes all in. I've got ace king suited hearts. I've got 4,100 chips. I see the guy on the small blind make moves with ace rags, so I just call him. But it's for my tournament as it puts me all in. He turns over ace queen suited, clubs, and hits the flush. I was berated for my call afterwards. Even though I like to be a raiser, not a caller, I thought I was at least 50-50 pre-flop. The guy in the small blind said he couldn't have had a high pocket pair, so my call was wrong. Did I play this wrong? Should I have folded? Or did I play it right? As some of these 50-50 situations, you have to win along the way in a tournament. How would you play it, Mark? And he says, thanks for the great advice, Mr. Damien.
You're absolutely correct. You played it. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The problem being is that you only have 4,000 odd chips and the blinds are 800. You have got to call with this hand. There is no way you can fold this hand. It is incorrect 100% to fold that hand in that situation. The only time it might be correct to fold is if you're playing in a satellite and you've got a few very short stacks who are around, and you're just about to approach the bubble, or you're on the bubble, is that situation, then maybe. But there's the situations where you'd fold that in under those circumstances, with the blinds being what they were, was it wasn't wrong to go all in. You did exactly the right thing. It's not nice being the caller of ace king. I appreciate that. You really want to be betting with it rather than calling with it. But in that situation, I can't see how you can fold. What position was he in, the guy? Did he say?
The guy was on the small blind. He was on the big blind.
Yeah. So. Oh right, so he's talking rubbish. He's absolutely talking complete nonsense. Yeah, you do not fold from a small blind to a big blind raise. I mean, he could be doing it with anything. Well, he has to do it with ace queen, and and you're a big favourite in the hand. Absolutely not. There's no way. The guy's talking a whole lot of twaddle.
There you go. Well, thank you for your email. I hope that's helped you out. If you've just tuned in, by the way, you and my Mark Strapes in Party Poppers, it is his birthday. So if you've got a question for the birthday boy, or if you'd just like to send him your best wishes, you can text us. 84222 is the text number. Put the word poker at the start of your message, or you can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
Well, but I've got something to say, Lynn. We were talking about this card. That, I thought it was a card that Dr. Tom, Nick and James Browning sent me. I was going to show it to the viewers because, normally people would do these kind of cards at home. They make them on the computers nowadays, and they sort of take one of themselves. So I thought,
put a picture of themselves on there.
I basically thought they put a picture of themselves on there. Let me just show it to the viewers here. Hold on. Let me just zoom in there for you. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Don't you think it looks like them? What do you think? Now, the only thing is, I'm not sure which one is Tom, James, or Nick. I think the one on the left, who seems to be laughing.
The belly laugh,
yeah. I think the laughing is definitely Nick.
That's Nick.
That's got to be Nick, isn't it?
The one on the right, James. And the one in the middle is probably Casper, because he's thinking about something with his hand on his head.
Could be
Casper's always thinking about everything.
Or it could be Dr. Tom there in the middle there, because he's putting his hand to his forehead saying, oh dear, That could be what it is.
Dr. Tom's in the bushes somewhere with his binoculars studying them.
Maybe Dr. Tom's the one taking the picture, who knows?
There you go. So happy birthday, Mark. If you'd like to send a question in, we are here till 2 o'clock. We'd love to hear from you. 84222 or email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Okay, we've got a game now. I think it's a bit of cash. Let's have a look. Okay. 51.
So you got some cash on that one, so it's another cash for you. Well done.
Yeah. Joint second. Yeah, because I did wonder why I only got $4 as well. So
$4. You split second and third probably.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Sounds. What was it? A $2 comp?
$2.
Yeah.
They probably split second and third. And
or maybe you got more, I don't know. Anyway, different sites do it in different ways. I think on this one they do it a slightly different way too, a lot of sites. But there was a question that I want to answer actually, which we'll just do over the top of this, which was someone was asking about cash games and tournaments. He plays tournaments and loses all his money on the cash games. You've got to realise that cash games do play very differently to tournaments, and there's a different skill. One of the different techniques you've got to adopt is that in cash games, it is a passive game. It's not a game of moves so much. There are less moves in cash games than there are in tournaments. And the problem is that what happens is that you do get a lot of tournament players going into cash games, and of course they're always moving all the time. Because they expect it. Now in tournaments you have to do it because the blinds are getting higher, so you have to be creative. You have to be creative. You have to steal blinds a lot more so than you do in cash games, because the name of the game is accumulating chips.
Yes.
That is the game. And if you don't do it, then the blinds will get you and you'll just be blinded out. Whereas in a cash game, there's no survival element. You don't have to worry about making moves, so you don't do it. You just play generally, new players watching, just eliminate the bluffs.
Right.
Yeah, if you can eliminate the bluffs when you first start playing cash games, then you do very well in cash games, because people will still pay you off. You can catch them bluffing. So that's the thing to watch out for. Well, look at this. Argyle Jack has hit a set, and Joey the Lips needs to see a 6, and he gets rid of it, and it doesn't appear. So, well, I think this Argyle's going to win this one. I'm not sure he can't pay him off. Yeah, he does. So, there you are.
Look at this all singing, all dancing email off Sue Marks, wishing you happy birthday.
Oh, fantastic.
And says, happy birthday, the Beast, as you share your birthday with you. Good show tonight, that's from Sue. Thanks for that. OK, we're going to take a short break now, but we're going to have the final of the MTT when we come back. So stick around and we'll see you after the break. Hello, welcome back to Poker Night Live. I'm Lyndsay and I'm joined by the birthday boy. It's Mark Banin. Happy birthday, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Thanks.
Your birthday now.
I know, another year, you know. Yeah, it's hard when you get to 26.
Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. It
is, yeah. You know, I was quite looking forward to staying at 25, but it's just a bit hard nowadays.
You're like
I'm sort of after the call of the century now.
You're like the wrong side of 25 now. You're nearer 30 than you are 20.
I know, that's the problem, isn't it?
It's a bit of a bummer, really.
Yeah.
Never mind. You'll have a good time anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get a couple of emails anyway before we get to a game, because we've had lots coming through. Thank you very much. AJ says, I recently began wondering how fast turbos have to get before they stop becoming poker, after which a site I play on has introduced one chip all-in or fold games of satellites. Do you think this is taking it too far? Is this just bingo? You need a dabber pen to play instead of a mouse.
Well, it is bingo, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing much but bingo. Turbos aren't that much short of bingo, really, to be perfectly honest with you. They're... you know, a lot of them are like that as well. So, you know, you take your pick, you take your choices and go with it. It's up to you, really. The blinds, you know, it depends on each turbo is different. So it's very hard for me to sit here and say. But basically, when you've got each player, when the average chip stack, you know, you work out how many players left. And when the average chip stack is only 4 or 5 times, or you know, or 6 times the big blind, then it's just a lottery, you know, after that point. But of course, it becomes very difficult even when it's 6 or 7 times or 8 times, when the average is like that. Because invariably what will happen is that one player will have a lot of chips and the others won't, so their average is even lower. So yeah, it does become a bit of a crapshoot then. So it is just bingo. But they do have one, you know, they have one-hand satellites. With, I think, was it yourself I was talking with? Yeah.
It was really funny to watch, but it was just complete potluck. Absolute potluck.
Yeah, so a lot of players, you know, they do it. It's a bit of fun. It dramatises things and has a little bit of fun.
There's a huge crowd around the table while it was happening. It was good fun to watch, but, I mean, some of these guys, the amount of money they were putting down on the table, they might as well have actually just paid into the tournament. Yeah,
well, as I said last time, you know, I was in Amsterdam and the buy-in was quite a big buy-in. I can't remember, it's either 3,000 or 5,000 euros. And I was watching people playing one-table satellites. One of them bought 8 or 9 of the seats out of the 10, and one guy had 1 or 2, and the guy that had 1 or 2 won it. You know, I just didn't understand the logic of that. There was no sense. But some people just like to gamble. You know, this is some poker. You know, a lot of people say that poker players are just gamblers who play poker, rather than poker players who gamble. There you are.
But yeah, interesting email, AJ, thank you. We've had a really, really long email off Super Gran. Now, we try and answer all the emails. It's a bit long to read out, but you've had a read-through of it
I'll summarise it. Yeah, basically, she was playing in a tournament where she was chip leader with 42,000 chips.
Okay.
And there's 7 people left, 6 get into the money. So the blinds are currently 1-2, and she's a big chip leader. The next highest stack is 11,000, so she's way ahead. 3 limpers. Comes round to the small blind, which Super Grand's in.
Okay.
King 5, she limps in 2. Big blind has got 485, and he's all in. And basically, the flop comes Ace King 3 or something.
Okay.
So she decides to bet out because there's a big side pot. The side pot is probably bigger than the actual main pot.
Okay.
So she's decided to bet out, and subsequently, what's happened is that. The others have all folded, and the big blind ends up winning the pot, and she ends up winning the side pot. Now, the big blind actually ends up hitting the nuts anyway.
Okay.
But they were all complaining because they were saying that she shouldn't have bet, they should have all checked it down to the end, and that way they could have all made the money.
Right.
Was that the wrong thing to do, she was asking. And the answer really is no. No, absolutely not.
I've seen that quite a few times, actually, with people saying in the chat box, what you should have just checked that down.
No, that is not the correct assumption. It is wrong to actually check it down in that situation. I mean, the play I don't think was technically correct, because if you had an ace, that's different. But to actually make the move with the king is, you know, you're taking a big chance yourself. But anyway, we'll say that you know, it was any hand. It isn't really important, you know, as long as you weren't totally bluffing at the pot. But even then, it's worth doing because we're not playing a satellite here. The only time that would be technically correct to check it down would be if we're in a satellite.
Right.
If you're in a satellite and there's 6 places and all the places are paid equally, i.e. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all the same prize, then that's different. Check it down. You're getting the same prize anyway. You don't get anything for accumulating more chips.
Yeah.
So that is understandable. However, when the first prize is bigger than second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth in that order, you want to accumulate more chips.
You're working towards every place.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to do the selfish thing, and the selfish thing is to accumulate chips, and that was the right thing to do.
And you think it's just sour grapes? People saying
it is sour grapes because they want to get into the money. And why, as chip leader, do you want to give them that opportunity? You're there to play the game. You're not there to give everyone else a leg up.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what you're doing by checking it down. You're just saying, okay, you come along for the ride, and guess what? I bet you they won't think, you know, too nicely when their head's up against you. They'll be trying to get all your chips, I can promise you. They won't be playing it too easy against you.
If you're sort of kind, considerate and caring and generous, you're not going to be a very good poker player.
No, you have to be a bit selfish in that situation, and you've done exactly the right thing. In fact, that was a good play. The only thing I'll say is a bit dangerous because you only had middle pair at the end of the day.
Yeah. But thanks for the email anyway. I hope that's answered your question for you. I'm sorry we couldn't read it all out, but it was very long. But thank you very much, and I hope that's answered your question. If you would like to get in touch with us, we're here till 2. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got a question for Mark, or indeed a comment, or you want to tell us a story, a poker story, you can text us, put the word poker at the start of your message, and send it to 84222, or you can email. And there's the address on your screen. It's poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. And if you want to find out any more information about Poker Night Live, there's our web address, www.pokernightllive.co.uk. OK, we're going to head to a game now. I think we're going to head over to our MTT and see how things are shaping up there.
OK, let's head over there.
There it is. Big difference now in the blind size since we left it last. 1,500, 3,000 now we have.
Well, this will be interesting. We've got 223,000 chips in play. And we're watching here, what are we watching? We're watching 146, 180 to... Yeah, it must be the final table. Let me just double check that. 112, 158. Yeah, just we're watching the final table indeed. So Jack 6 from Hay Says Hi. He's the current chip leader, so he's in a good situation at the moment. So 4 players left. Just to give you some info as to where some of these other players came along. Semtex 11, we saw earlier, he finished in 19th place. Delboy, who was a regular player here, finished in 18th place. I think we had a look at Cocoa Pops as well, who was doing quite well, I remember. He finished in 16th place. Shaky Shark, a regular player here, 14th place. Who else here? Big Shan, who we saw. Oh, let's have a look here. We've got an all in there, and we've just lost Chris. So Chris is now out.
For 4th place, it's $141.
How much did he get?
$141.
Oh yeah, sorry, my mistake. It was Mark G. Yep, it was indeed Mark G who went out there. In fact, not Chris. So Chris, in fact, I'll give you those just in a moment where some of these guys ended up. But
now look at this. Pot and Pans hit 2 pair, but Hay Says Hi is on a nice little flush draw there. This could be quite interesting. Pot and Pan, ooh. He needed to hit a diamond. He didn't hit it. Pot and Pan is now taken over as chip leader.
Yeah, so he's not going to like that, Hay says hi, is he? And he's in a little bit of trouble here if he's elected to call. And what's Pot and Pan going to do? He's elected to boost things up a little bit. And Hay will probably want to get away from this. Yeah, King 9. Not a bad hand, but not good to a raise. Last thing you want to do is call a raise with it, and then you're stuck up against King Jack or King Queen, or or worse, Ace King or Ace Jack or something like that. So he done the right thing in the end. So yeah, just to give you an idea, Big Shan finished in 12th. No money for any of these guys so far. Mr. Perfect finished in 10th place. He was the first one to pick up any kind of check, and he got $22.35 for his trouble. Cool Dude hit 9th with $44. Star 177, $59 for him. Enough said, 7th with $74. Chris, who I mistakenly put in 4th, he actually came 6th with $97. Quite Tight, who's a regular player here on the Poker Night Live, 119. He's had a good run, Quite Tight, recently. Seem to see him quite often sort of there or thereabouts. Mark G, who we just saw eliminated, $141. Next prize is $186. Of course, second will get a little more than that, $298, very nice indeed. And if you can get that glamorous first spot, that will pay you $447. And the maximum you would have outlaid in this tournament is $30.
Nice
although the average is much lower than that. So it'd be interesting to know how much any of these guys would have paid in. But they're all in profit now. In fact, even if you're in 9th place, you would have been in profit for definite. That's already over $40. So, yeah, some nice prizes here. $447. Not bad for a couple of hours' work.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's had a lot of fun doing it. Winning these tournaments are always a lot of fun. You always get a sense of satisfaction. Even, I've been playing now for such a long time, and, whenever I win one of these things, it's always nice. You always still get a great deal of satisfaction from doing it.
I think it's the fact that you invest a lot more time into them as well, because you can be sitting there for 3 or 4 hours sometimes, and because you invest so much time into it, it's really nice to get a reward at the end of it.
It is nice, yeah, because and generally, if you're going to win one of these things, you're going to have to play well. Sure, you're going to need a little bit of luck along the way too, but you're going to have to play well. There's no two ways about that. So you're going to have to play well. You're going to have to make some interesting moves, some bluffs along the way. It's the only way you're going to win one of these things. So that's the satisfaction, I think. It's not only the fact that you win, it's the fact that you know that you won by playing well. Very rare, you won't win by playing rubbish, let's just face it.
Well, there's too many opponents.
Exactly right.
So you can't be looking against 80 to 100, 150 people,
No, you can't. Absolutely right. You can be lucky against one or two.
You may have the odd lucky hand and the odd lucky win throughout the tournament, but overall you're going to have a steady, consistently good game to get to the final table and to win one of these. Exactly
right. You're going to need a good game to get to the final table, and you're going to need an even better game to actually win it. So that's the great thing about poker. It gives you that sense of satisfaction that you've achieved something. Not the fact that you've won the money. The money's obviously very nice, but to say, yeah, I beat all those people.
Yes.
And I played really well.
And you played well. Yeah.
I played. I was on top of my game. I could read situations. Of course, you might have to beat Ace King with Ace Queen every now and again. That's poker for you. You'll have it done to you, I can promise you. So everyone does it. You do need to get lucky. Look at Chris Moneymaker. He got lucky a few times. With one card to come, he was up against a full house, and he needed to hit a miracle ace or queen on the end when there was only like a couple left in the pack.
Yeah.
And he hit one of them. And that excelled him. He took out the second chip leader, and that excelled him to having a big chip lead, and he never looked back from that point.
Yeah.
And that guy that he beat in that particular hand was Phil Ivey. So
a little bit of luck.
So he had a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the money was in on the turn. So when all he had was one card left, so he was drawing very, very thin.
Yeah.
And he could have easily been out in that situation. Just shows you turn of a card. That's all it takes. Well, this could be trouble for Post and Pan. he's hit a part of this. Not really sort of excited about this move. It's dangerous. He's check raised, and he should put it down now. Hope he does. He's not got a diamond in his hand, but he's just burned off 24,000 in chips. And Anfield says, well, if you've got the flush, good luck to you. I've got an ace. If you've got a bigger ace, then that's bad luck. But if I re-raise you, I might even get you off another better ace than mine. Well, Postman Pan will like this. He's got 2 overcards. He wants to build a pot here. He wants to bet at it, and he does. And it's a nice play here. I like that play. I think I might have been tempted just to move all in with the amount of chips he had left, rather than play too sneakily. But it's worked out okay, and he's back up to 67. So the guys are playing for a first prize of $447. Obviously, next person to go out will only get 186, so quite a bit behind. But the nice thing about this is that the blinds are only 2,000, 4,000, Lynn, which means that there's a lot of play for these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, Hay, who's in the worst position, he's got well over 10 times the big blind, so that's not bad. Postman has got 15 times the big blind, and Anfield James has got 25 times the big blind. So, Postman Pan has hit his card that he wanted to hit, but he thought he wanted to hit it. Yeah, and he done well, Postman Pan, just to call there on the end. Personally, I think I would have liked to prefer to bet on the turn there. I'm not sure if he did that, but I don't think he did.
Anyway, James, I think Liverpool have won enough this season. You should be spreading the joy. King 3.
King 3 for Anfield James against he says high A7. Anfield throws it. It's understandable. Doesn't want to gamble with when he doesn't necessarily need to. So Anfield's got the command at the moment. Now we've seen Hay says high have the lead. We started off, and then it moved over to Postman Pan, and now it's moved over for Anfield James. Now, my question, Lynn, is will it move back round to Hay says high?
It could do. You know, he's certainly not doing anything rash. He's still got plenty of play left. He's got well over. You know, he's got 53,000 chips. The blinds, 2,000, 4,000.
Yeah, and he's looking very strong, isn't he?
And he's playing well.
Yeah, they're going to find it hard to
maybe
extract these chips from him. And he's not. He doesn't want to get involved with a mediocre hand.
Yeah, but he's still picking up blinds, so he's given himself an extra, a free turn.
Well, he won't play this hand, I don't think. Queen 4. He might do. He might decide to put a little bit of pressure on Pot and Pan. Doesn't want to know. And they're playing fairly conservative. Now, a thing that Mike Caro, the mad professor of poker, says is that money in a poker game moves in a clockwise direction. So we can see good evidence of that here, can't we?
Well, yeah.
Hay says high to Pot and Pan to Anfield.
Example.
And if it goes round to Hay says high again, then it'll really be scary.
And why does he say that? What is his...
Well, because that's the way the game works. The game works in a clockwise format.
Yeah.
And the big blind is the...
it's with people taking blinds, is that?
With people taking blinds and the button moving around in a clockwise format. So basically saying that the money will follow the button, in effect, is what he's saying.
Well, this game's proved his point so far.
Ooh, look at that. Nice, not a bad one for Hay says high.
Yeah, Pot and Pan's hit a bit of it though.
Yeah, he needs that club to appear, doesn't he? Or a 7 now.
Yeah, or a queen.
Or a queen will do it as well, yeah. Oh, he might just call him, you know. I don't think he's going to give this up. He's thinking, well, I'll be down to 35 if I fold this. Do I need to take a chance? Let's see, it'd be interesting to see.
This is like that defining moment in the tournament, isn't it? Where it could go either way.
Well, interesting. He has folded. He's figured that he's got enough to play. He just was asking himself whether he was on a move there. Now, he did have a redraw. Wasn't particularly good redraw because he only had one card to come. So he said, no, I can rescue this I'll give it up, and I've still got some chips. Well, that's fair enough. He has got chips. He's got about 10 times the big blind. So he's okay.
Yeah, that could have been one of those moments where he could have put pot and pan on the flush, ready-made flush. Because
yeah, the only thing is that if he did hit his club, then he would have the nut flush.
Yes.
Because he had the best.
He had the queen.
He had the queen, and the ace and king was already on the board.
On the board, yeah.
So he decided that he can outplay his opponents, basically. He says, I don't need to gamble. I'm going to try and outplay these guys. And, well, this is a big raise here. I can't see Anfield calling with Queen 10. And he doesn't. Dangerous, though. But he's elected. He says, I need 6,000, and I might as well take it. Well, this is going to be interesting. He might decide to push here, see if he can get some fold equity going. Yes, he has. And this is a difficult call for pot and pan. He's elected not to. Wow.
And he's pulled those chips back. He
has, yeah. He's pulled a few of them back. They're a bit more even now for pot and pan, and Aces High almost identical, in fact. And he just takes a small lead again. So we're watching the multi-table tournament. It started with 82 players. We're down to the final, the last three. So far we've hit fourth place, so that was Mark G, who just last went out with $141 to his name. And next place out is going to be worth $186.
Yeah, and the most these guys could have put in is $30, because it was $10 to buy, and there was one $10 rebuy and one $10 add-on.
Yeah, that's right.
If they wanted them.
Yeah, that's right, and they don't have to put it in. So that's the maximum. The minimum, of course, is $10 they could have got in for, or 30. Yeah. Nice little tournaments, these one rebuy ones. It stops the maniacs and gives you a chance that if you do have a bit of bad luck, you can re-get.
Yeah, I don't mind that, actually, because I normally avoid them like the play, but because where you can rebuy constantly for the first hour.
Yeah.
Because it's just crazy.
It's too long, yeah.
I don't think I would mind it so much where you've only got one, because you still got to be very disciplined, because you still only have one rebuy.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
You can afford to maybe take one risky decision if you're not quite sure and think, but you've still got to have a really sort of disciplined game. Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? If you decided that you've got 2 overcards and a flush draw, and you think the other guy's got top pair. Yeah. Yeah. Now, whilst you're a small favourite in the hand, you might think, you know what, I'll give it a go. Even if I get knocked out, I can still rebuy back in. And if I don't, I've doubled up.
And if I don't, I've doubled up, exactly. So, you know, I'm a small favourite, potentially, you know, as long as he hasn't got something bigger.
Yeah.
And so let's go for it. You know, or you might do that on a hand that, you know, to try and double up. You might see it as there's only a few hands left before the end of the rebuy period. You've got a flush draw. Yeah. Someone's re-raised you. Now you can decide whether you want to go all in and take a chance to double up before the end of the rebuy period.
That you hit your flush.
If it doesn't, it makes no difference. You can rebuy back in, and you're left with exactly the same chips as what you started with.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
But there are ways to play it. So I think people go a bit maniac sometimes, and they, you know, they start going, they start chasing like gut shots and things like that, which you know is not going to hit very often.
Yeah.
So King 10 for Anfield. Aces high. He's got Ace Queen. Oh, he re-raises. That's a nice bet there. He's doing the right thing. And Anfield's got another 30,000 to call, and he decides no. He's getting 2 to 1 his money, but.
But if he loses that hand, he's
dead. Yeah. Well, it's a difficult one.
He's back in this. You know that they're fairly.
Yeah.
He's in the same position.
I might have called in that situation. I might have called.
Oh, look at this hand now. Anfield James.
Yeah, he wants to try and get some money out of pot and pan. And that's, he's checked it, hoping that pot and pan, no. He won't check it again, no, I don't think, and he shouldn't. He should put a 12,000 bet or something in there. He's trying to tempt him in. And the pot and pan says, I don't know.
Looks a bit too sneaky.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred there a minimum raise there.
Yeah.
Pre-flop, yeah. Why? Because once the guy's put in something, then a minimum raise is almost got to call for the minimum. So at least he gets a bit more out of the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I would have preferred, I think.
Well, we're going to get back to that tournament. Don't worry, we've paused it. You're not going to miss a second. I just want to get a quick email in. Bob has been in touch. I sent a text. Bob says, Mark, if you could invite any 5 of the world's players to your birthday game of Hold'em, who would they be?
Oh, I think this would be quite easy. If you're talking about some of my favourite players, of course, I would say, well, it's got to be Phil Ivey. It's got to be, I think, Eric Seidel is a very good player. Daniel Negreanu. Yeah, very chatty. Who else would it be? Let me think. That's 3.
You've got 2 more.
2 more. I'll have to have a think about that one.
What about Devilfish?
No, I've played with Devilfish. I probably wouldn't be Devilfish, because I've played with him before.
Yeah.
Someone I haven't played with, Johnny Chan. I think we had him on the other night.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. And maybe Doyle Brunson. There you go. So yeah, I think it would be those 5. That would be
a pretty good tournament.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to win much money out of it, but it'll certainly be a lot of fun, and it'll be a great learning experience because you pick up lots of stuff from these guys.
Be brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be something a great tournament to play.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a word with the gentleman upstairs and see if we can organise that for your birthday. You never know.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
Okay, let's get back to the MTT. Yeah, good text.
Yeah, I mean, they're all tremendous players, and so pot and pan, going to win this one. And well, we see some of that money going round to Hay Says Hi.
Yes, it is moving
a little bit round in that direction.
A bit, yeah.
Pot and pan seems to be, he's trying, he just doesn't seem to be having his run there of luck. I mean, he's picking up some horrible, nasty little hands, in all fairness. Jack 4, I mean, what's he going to do with that? Well, that's really what you can do with it.
Yeah. Casper said Jack 4's like knives, don't play with them.
Yeah. Oh, he's picked up pot and pans, picked up a couple of German virgins.
9-9.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, Lyndsay, for stating the obvious there.
So, moving on to Anfield James, who's got the small blind, and Hay Says Hi's got big blind. Anfield James doesn't want to know, and he picks that one up. And Pot and Pan's picked up a little bit of chips from his 9s. And, well, Hay Says Hi says, you have this, I don't want it. Oh, they're playing very conservative, aren't they? The blinds are still 2-4. I dare say they'll probably go up in a couple of minutes, so... Oh, nice. How is he going to get paid here?
I don't think he will.
No. It's been a very passive table, so he's not going to get paid. And he would have had to have taken a big risk in order to get paid with that. And the risk, of course, is limping in. And he just didn't fancy it. I don't blame him, really. I think I might have gone for a minimum raise, but, you know, he wouldn't have got paid for that either. The problem is that when you're on a passive table, if you flat call, you know that it's unlikely no one's going to raise.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you can't get any money in the pot. So the problem is, so the only way of trying to get some money in the pot is by putting a minimum raise, hoping they've got something that they're interested in.
They've got a pair of 9s or...
Well, I think they'll do that anyway with a pair of 9s, but something that has some kind of possibilities.
Yeah.
Queen 9, perhaps. Queen 10.
But Jack 2.
But Jack 2, 4. Jack 4, whatever it was, they've got no chance, have they? So just unlucky for Hay Says Hi. Nothing you could have done there that would have got money in the pot. Well, the blinds have gone up now. They're now 3-6. And he's decided to have a little look with his King 10. No one's got a diamond in their hand, but Hay Says Hi's got bluffing rights. So he might want to follow this up. Well, there's a lot of money in his pot. And, well, he's given himself a chance to get away in case he does get over the top.
Yeah.
And
all those chips move round.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice bet. I'll tell you why. Because whilst he's leaving himself room to escape, he's also basically saying, oh, I want to milk you for some chips.
Yeah.
So, but I think if Anfield James had read it correctly, he would have read it, hold on a sec, how come you're only putting 20? Now, unless you flop the flush, you're not going to, well, even then you won't be putting in 20. So what could you possibly have where you bet 20?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. even though it's a good bet, it doesn't actually make sense for the hand that's there.
Yeah.
The 3 diamonds, if you had a hand, you would bet all in to scare him off. The diamond draw, the possible diamond draw. So the 20, there's no hand I can think of where you'd want to bet 20.
What would you put him on? Yeah.
Yeah. There's no hand that you can put him on to say, I want to bet that 20. So, but it's a very hard play to make, you know, going over the top with nothing, in effect, is a very hard play to make. So well played by Aces High.
Yeah.
Took a chance. Anfield James just didn't have the hand or the sort of fortitude to sort of follow through what would have been the right play. But sometimes you just have to go on guts. Oh, look at this. Well, that was unfortunate for Pot and Pan. He did hit his 8, but he's going to take home third place. And yeah, hit his 8s, hit 2 pair, but unfortunately he needed another ace or another 8 to appear. Not to be. So he takes home $186 for his trouble. Next one out. We're heads up between Aces High and Anfield James. And
very even heads up match now as well.
Yeah, they're not too far away from each other, are they? So they've got lots of play here. Not bad. 15 times a big blind, is it? Yeah, about 15 times a big blind for Aces High and a little bit more than that for Anfield James. So should be interesting. Anfield James is, I'm a bit worried about his play actually because he's been very passive. He's had a chip lead for a long time now and he just hasn't used it at all.
Heads up though.
Well, you can as long as you play it right.
Right.
You have to play. You do need to take moments of aggression.
Right.
You don't have to be that overly aggressive.
Okay.
I'm actually quite a passive player, heads up.
Right.
But I do pick my moments for extra aggression.
Right.
But it's sort of one or the other. Oh, look at this. This could be a nice hand for Aces High. But he's got 2 pair. He probably wants to close it off. Probably wants to put a decent bet in here. Doesn't want any like the 2 of clubs to beat him. And this is what I mean. You see, he's now made it a pot-sized bet. What was almost a very similar flop to the one before.
Yes.
Why? Because he's got the hand, and he doesn't want anyone to come in.
So, whereas that bet before
was I'm scared, I think.
Yeah.
It was basically saying I'm scared, and whilst it's a very difficult play for your opponent to make, it is still possible for a very, very good player to realise, hold on a sec, this 20 doesn't make sense. Why you make 20?
What
it doesn't mean anything. I can't understand what it could be. Because if you had the nut flush, or put it this way, if you got...
You would have pushed in.
No, if you had a nut flush you wouldn't push in, you just make it a small bet.
Right.
You know, because you want to encourage your opponents to call. So if you had the best flush.
Okay.
So, you know, what could it possibly be? It can't be the best flush. It can't be a weak flush, because by the same token you want to scare off your opponent.
So if it was a weak flush, you would have pushed in?
Yeah, because if you got something like 3-4 of diamonds, someone holding the 7 of diamonds is beating you if it comes. Yeah. So you want to scare them off, yeah. Well, it looks like this pot is going to end up going towards Aces High. I don't know how it got so big, to 28,000. I think Anfield James made a move there. I just missed it as we were talking there. But he's now wrestled the lead from Anfield James. And you want to play this hand, Anfield James. 3,000 to him. See, this is a hand I probably would just flat call with. But he's ready to raise and he's going to get away with it. I want to try and... it's a fairly nice sort of hand. I don't really want to just keep winning 6,000 every time. I want to try and get something out of it. Now, this is different. King 3 I would be raising with. Because it's not such a good hand. It's got very little prospects. And see, Anfield James has smelt weakness and he's bet. And if he puts a decent bet out here, I don't think Aces High can call. He'll be on the weak side. Needs to make it a pot-sized bet of 24, I think, would have scared him off. No, he's just done the job anyway. So, it's Queen 10 against Jack 10. And he's made a bet here. Well, once again, I don't mind a limp in. You see, this was a great chance if he had limped in.
Yeah.
And if 10 hits, he's going to get a lot of money out of it. And there's a good chance that, you know, he could get a ton of cash. By the same token, he could lose a ton of cash if it hits Jack 10, but he's not likely to spend too much money with second pair. Oh, look at that. He's flopped the straight and he's got the nut flush draw. So this is looking at a very good situation for Aces High.
Oh, why?
That was a bit of a misstep there by Aces High. By Anfield James rather, and Aces High says, thank you very much. I don't think I can lose this hand.
Why do you think he did that? Just to represent the flush?
Well, he tried to get him off the hand, basically, didn't he? He thought he had nothing, and he went over the top, and it was just bad timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't mind that play, as long as you've got some kind of draw. He had no draw. That was a problem. So, yeah. So it was basically an out-and-out bluff. So very unfortunate.
Bit of a brutal end there for Anfield James.
Yeah.
I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah, he was playing quite passive up to that point. All of a sudden, he chose the wrong moment to get overly aggressive. Yeah, strange play.
Just wrong time.
What can you do? He picks up 298, Anfield James, for that one. And our winner of today's multi-table tournament is Hey Says Hi, who's a regular player on our TV table.
Yes, I've not seen him for a while, actually, so well done.
Yeah, nice prize.
On your win. Good victory there. OK, I'm going to get a couple of emails now we've left that tournament. Kyle has sent an email, and Kyle says, I just wanted to update you about a great win I had last night. After all of the people on PNL telling us that King-Queen rules in the land of the unraised pot, well, for me it definitely does, as last night I was in the latter stages of a $10 tourney when I got dealt King-Queen of clubs on the button with no raises round to me. So I just flat called. The flop comes, Jack, Ace, 10, all clubs. So I hit a royal flush on the flop, which I can't believe, and this is the first time I've hit one. Every time that is still in, which is about 5 other people go all in, which is great for me as I take the pot and move into a massive chip lead, knock out 5 other people along the way. This was great for my confidence as I've had a bad run of luck recently, and it then improved, and I went on to win the tourney with a first prize of $558. King Queen definitely rules in the land of the unraised pot.
Well, I'll say in that case it will rule in the land of the unraised pot one time out of every 20,000. So in that case it rules in the land of the unraised pot, because that's the odds of actually flopping a royal flush, 20,000 to 1.
Brilliant.
So very nice hand though, very nice.
Absolutely brilliant. Morton says, hi Mark and Lindsay, just to get the opinion of a professional, where do you make the most money? Is it in ring games, sit and goes, or perhaps multi-table tournaments? I know that you'll obviously win the most if you get lucky and win a big MTT, but look aside, where do you make the most money, taking the time spent playing into consideration? I do realise that this may be different from person to person, but in any case, where do you find that you spend your time best?
Well, it's difficult because I've had some big wins on tournaments, so it's difficult for me to say. So most of my success has come via tournaments. However, what I will say is that if you want to progress in that way, well, if you want to progress in poker, you really need to use cash games as what I would call bread and butter stuff, your daily stuff, and multi-table tournaments as sort of the icing on the cake type of thing. The thing that you go for, the dessert, if you like. Really, cash games should be your bread and butter stuff, and tournaments should be a bit of fun, and if you get lucky, then great. Because when I say get lucky, you're going to need a reasonable amount of luck to win decent multi-table tournaments. There are a lot of players entering, and you're going to have to come from behind 2 or 3 times. I mean, I've heard someone say that to win this year's World Series, for example, you're going to have to win something like 30 to 40 50-50s.
Right.
That's a lot of 50-50s.
Yeah.
But someone's got to do it. Someone's going to keep flipping the coin. It's going to keep coming down the heads 30 times.
Yeah.
And the odd time that they do lose, guess what? They're going to lose against someone who's got no chips.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of fortune you're going to need. And there is a big variance in tournaments, much bigger than cash games. Your swings will be, going from up and down like a yo-yo as it goes through, because you won't win that many and you won't make that many final tables because of the number of players. So the variances are big, much more difficult. So that's how I'd suggest. Personally, I've made most of my money from tournaments. So.
Yeah. There's no point me answering that question, is there? Okay, I've got an email from the Double Top who was playing in the Beat the Presenter tournament. Double Top says, hi Lindsay and birthday boy Mark. I hope tonight I try to show how to play 7-8 offsuit in the manner of the great Mark Banin. I forced the issue when I hit the flop in late position and without thought folded out of position. As a student of Lord Banin, I hope I have made my master happy tonight.
I thought he played that hand Yeah, perfectly. He'd done the right thing. In one case, he played it aggressively. In the other case, he just folded it, and that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, and he says, have a great birthday. Enjoy the helicopter trip. Don't crash.
I'll try not to. It's going to be me at the controls. Yeah.
He says, Lyndsay, just one question. When you held ace-10 against ace-king or something like that, why didn't you make a bet after the flop with something like 10-8-6? I would have if I was you, and holding ace-king, it would have been a hard call to make. I'd like to say I'm sorry for bluff raising you, but I can't. I'm a poker player. Great show. Until next time. Well, don't be sorry, because like you say, you're a poker player. The answer to your question, I don't know, just us women are fickle. That's I can't even remember.
That's not a good answer.
I can't even
us
remember.
Women are fickle.
The hand, but yeah.
That's not a very good example to all the women, potential
I'm
women professional poker players out there.
I'm unpredictable, Mark, because they think that they've got my game nailed on, and they think they know exactly how to play. You see, I could do anything. So next time, beware. You never know. You never know what I'm going to have or what I'm going to do. He's coming to get you.
Sounds a bit saucy to me. Okay.
Don't wind him up, he's the worst. Okay, we're going to head over to a cash game now.
Okay, so we're watching a 50-cent $1 cash game. This is one that we peered into earlier this evening, so let's see if there's any names that I recognise. In fact, I recognise all of them.
Oh,
the only one that's new is Cat O'Nashed. Well, these guys have been playing for a few hours, haven't they?
Is this the game you were watching when I was playing Beat the Presenter about 11 o'clock?
It was the same game.
Yeah.
Loomis has lost a few of his chips, and Argyle, look at that, he's actually accumulated a whole bunch. Now, just for those viewers who are wondering how I know this, is because the maximum bind for this table is $100. So you can only sit down with a maximum of $100, a minimum of $10, and Argyle Jack has tripled his stack. He's now sitting on $300. So he's in a great position. Pulsar is doing quite well, and Loomis, who was up to 200 at one point, a little over 200 in fact, is down 240. It might be time, as he's gone down a little bit since I last saw him, because he was... Whilst he started at around 200, he did go down to about 150 when we left him, I think. And he's back down to 138 now. So it might be a time to just give it a rest, I think, perhaps, Loomis. When you're not making much headway, it's just time to, let's have a break from this, you know. Difficult, though, because you think that there's, lots of money on the table. If we take the consideration that money moves in the clockwise direction, he has to look at Pulsar's money and Money Giver and Joey the Lips. And of course, Joey Lips is really on the wrong side of Argyle Jack, because it means his money will be going in his direction.
Yeah.
So he has to watch that.
You've got to know when the right time is to get up and actually walk away for a while. And
yeah, sometimes you can just be a little bit stale. You've been playing for hours, and let's face it, you're not going to be as focused as if you'd just been sat down.
And sometimes it's just not your night.
No, absolutely. I mean, the best time, I tend to try and play games. When I'm going into a cash game, a live cash game, I will try and go late as possible.
Right.
Because I know people have been playing a while, they're a bit stale, a bit tired perhaps.
Yes.
And that's part of games, that's part of poker. Yeah. That's part of game selection. You've got to go with as many edges as you can. And it's not only the cards and being a better player and using your position, it's also about picking the right game.
Yeah.
And the right game is having people that are tired. That's great.
Finding the weaknesses in your opponents.
Absolutely, and if they've got a weakness just by being there, and the fact that they're there
they're a bit tired. They've been there a long time. They've maybe had a couple of bad beats while they've been there as well. Could be a bit tilty. And
of course, and that's exactly what you want. You want that advantage. So you want them to be tired. You want any advantage that you can get, and it can be very profitable doing that. But unfortunately, poker is a game where people don't have that kind of patience. They have, they just want to get in there. They want to play. They want to have fun.
Yeah.
So nothing here for anyone. Ace Jack is in the lead, and he said it. Well, he doesn't want to. No, he doesn't want to bet at it. Joey Lips might have a little go. No, he doesn't. Well, still no one's got anything. So it just shows you all. Oh no, sorry, I tell a lie. Joey the Lips has now picked up the straight. I just didn't see that. First 7, 8, 9, 10 Jack. So Joey Lips has got his wish. He's going to put a bet out here, but unfortunately, he's tried to make it look like a bluff, and he was praying that someone there was sitting with a 6, but that would have made a lower straight. So ace king here for the small blind, and he wants to bet here. He wants to definitely raise. No, I don't like the call. And the reason I don't like the call, sometimes I don't mind, but the reason I don't like the call in this situation is he's now got to ask a question of nods. He's got to ask a question of nods. He needs to find out whether nods has got aces or kings, because some people like to slow play. And that's the problem now. Now Nods has picked up a nice hand. He's going to bet it, no doubt. He wants to boost his pot up. He doesn't. Nods, you've missed an opportunity. You might have got some money out of Pulsar with his 2 overcards and an inside straight draw. And now no one's going to pay you because they've got nothing. Yeah, no, he had an opportunity. He had the chance to pot build there. He had a good hand, plus he had a draw to a better hand. He should have really pot built and stuck some money in that pot, because the pot was only sitting at 3. He needed to really start building it up. So missed opportunity there, I think, for Nods. And Loomis is continue to make his steals, this time with Queen 7, which is the meridian of poker hands. And there it is again. Money giver with an ace, not a particularly good one. He'll probably just want to fold this, I think. I think I'd be tempted to. Jack 3, he's not going to do anything there. Well, he wants to try and steal this with a minimum. And if he doesn't get it on this hand, he'll get it on the flop when the other guy's missed. Let's have a look. He's thinking, do I want to call 1? I'm getting 3.5 to 1 my money. He's wondering why Pulsar would make such a strange bet. He'll probably just fold it with Queen 7. I don't mind him folding it, even with 3.5 to 1 odds. The odds are giving him, he's got good odds. But that's about it. So, this is going to be the last hand of our 50-cent $1 cash game. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been good to watch. And well played, guys.
Yeah, well played.
Enjoyed watching you. It was good fun.
Saw some good cash stuff tonight, actually. Even the really small stakes table, the 5 cent, 10 cent was
overall,
good as
it was pretty good, yeah. And we saw old Loomis there making his moves as he likes to do, so that was good fun.
I've actually got an email from Loomis,
okay.
Sam, and Loomis says, "Hi guys, once again, I'm glad you enjoyed the plays I made on the $51. But a topic that has been growing on the forums among the players is the idea of a poker blog. After seeing another PNL members blog, I thought it would be a good idea to start one myself. I have found that by tracking my play in the blog and writing down all my frustrations and pivotal hands, it's making me play better. So I recommend the idea of blogs. But what do you think?"
Okay. Blogs. Well, I think for blogs, you've got to have a lot of time on your hands, so you've got too much time, Sam. That's the problem on your hands. However, I do think, in a way, they are quite a good thing. And I'll tell you why I think they're a good thing. Because I think what it does is it allows you to, if you're doing what Sam does, it allows you to actually self-analyse your hand. And one of the best things you can do is self-analyse your hand. There is one caveat to that, and that is there is a problem whereby you can overanalyze sometimes. You know, you can think, oh, I had kings and maybe I should have just called and not raised, and he had aces.
Right.
You know, or stuff like that. And you start overanalyzing hands that you just had no getaway from. You've got to accept that sometimes in poker that will happen, and you know, that's just one of those things. So I would say that that's good as long as you don't go too much extreme. But poker blogs are good fun, so if you've got a bit of time, why not?
So have you ever something you've ever done, or?
No, it's not. No.
But I guess you've taken notes on your play.
Oh, absolutely. I do make notes of my play and things that I need to, especially in the early days. So that's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I used to make notes and all about my plays. I still make some notes, but not as often as I used to. Yeah. So
taking notes, especially if you're a new player, is always a good thing.
It is, yeah. You want to remind yourself of situations. Well, certain situations you'll forget and you think, oh, I could have done that differently. Maybe I should have done this, should have done that. So, yeah, it's not a bad way. But you've got to remember, poker is situational. You know, what you write down in certain game situation isn't necessarily true of another game where you might have what appears to be the same hand. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. And Sam says, is it normal to turn $500 into nearly $900 in one day playing 50 cents, or has it been a good day? I think you know the answer to that, Sam. I think it's been a good day. It's been a good day. I think it's been a good day. We hope you have a lovely day tomorrow, Mark. Yeah, thank you very much. You're going off in the helicopter. I am. I'm going to have some fun, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll come down in one piece. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be brilliant. Absolutely fabulous. Have you had a good day? Yes, I have. It's been a good night, hasn't it? We've had a lot of action, haven't we? Didn't win, beat the presenter, but never mind. It wasn't disastrous, was it? So were. You got a prize, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Always nice to cash in.
And we saw some good games tonight, actually. Good MTT, good cash games, lots of nice emails. So thanks very much, guys, for getting involved. We've got to go now, I'm afraid. That's all we've got time for.
Yeah,
but
thanks
for
everyone
watching.
for the birthday wishes.
Yes, and you have a lovely day tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Good night.